All right. So usually these rooms tend to fill in after we've been talking for a little bit. So let's go ahead and I guess get started. It's been a few minutes. Um, I want to first start by saying today is actually pretty exciting for a lot of us because Tangem Pay has made a huge announcement today. As many of you know, Tangem Pay, before I say what they've announced, let me give a little bit of a backstory into them. So a lot of us use Tangem Wallet, right? We use it for our cold wallets, and some of us use it to exchange money and whatnot. Well, last year they had said that they were going to release Tangem Pay probably around July. So they said they were going to do this around the summertime, or at least that's when they really started getting our hopes up. And then it looked like it could be closer to the fall of last year. And so I made a post to them and said, hey, how many days do we have to wait? And they said, well, it's going to be a few. Maybe it'll be out quarter 1 of next year. So here comes 2025. Quarter 1 comes. And instead of delivering it, they went to a conference and said, we're going to reveal something about Tangem Pay. We thought, oh, here it comes. It's going to be released. And instead, it was them just saying, we have a waiting list. You can sign up for our waiting list if you want to know more. So I probably sent them 12 or 13 tweets over the last year and a half saying, when Tangem Pay, when Tangem Pay, when. So I signed up on the waiting list back in April. And then today, of all days, they made the announcement we've all been waiting for. Tangem Pay will be starting to roll out this month. It does not roll out for the whole world, but it rolls out for many, many people. So we're going to start to talk about that a little bit. What this is essentially a way to use crypto anywhere that accepts Visa. Now, they can't go in guns blazing and have everything ready on day one. They're having to roll this out in uh, increments, right? So the first thing they're going to do is they're making this a virtual Visa card rather than a physical one, although it will be physical down the road. So they're offering a virtual Visa card. It's non-custodial. It will be embedded in Tangem Wallet. Their hands are off of it, so they never actually have access to anybody's money. These states in the United States will actually be some of the first ones to look at this. Now, keep in mind that back in April, when they made their announcement, they said Europe was going to come first, and that America would be way down the line. So for 33 states in America to come before some of the European countries is actually pretty phenomenal. Well, there's some hiccups to this, right? Because there is a KYC involved, and that's going to be something we'll talk about in a few minutes. But one thing I wanted to kind of just bring up is the fact that we're going to have this amazing card available that's going to introduce crypto to normies in a way that will make adoption a lot easier. It's really easy for businesses to accept crypto if all they have to do is say slide your Visa card, right? Because most people use debit or credit card. Now that we have Tangem Pay coming out and people can start to use it late November across a lot of different states here in America, and I'll list some of those states in just a second. It's going to allow these users to basically top up their USDC and then spend it as its actual US dollar. So you're not converting it to fiat, you're converting it to USDC. And it doesn't stop there. Like I said, this is in increments, right? So later on down the road, they're going to open up to more stable coins. And as you know, with Kaspa, we have Gigawatt that's being talked about with Circle and Tether. So we could have a Kaspa stablecoin that we can convert to in the near future, is what a lot of us are hoping for, which is really, really cool. So we can spend instantly with a virtual Visa card for now, which is really great because we never lose custody. It's self-custody the whole time, which is wonderful. I want to read off some of these states. I am pulling it up right now. This is incredible. 33 states. I want to actually list them all for our listeners, if that's okay. So we have Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. There will be other supported countries, including Australia, the Philippines, Japan, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Singapore, South Africa, and the UAE. And there are other countries. I'm not going to list off all the countries, but there are a number of them. And it does not appear to be open yet to a lot of places in Europe. But again, they've had their sights set on Europe. They've been talking about it since last year. So it will be coming. It's just a matter of rolling it out, getting people on board. They have to test this out too and make sure that a lot of people can use this. So this is mostly right now in the US and Latin America. There's a lot of Latin American countries that they have listed. And yeah, Tangem Pay is something I've been looking forward to for a long time because I want to spend Kaspa. And a lot of the businesses out here, they don't accept Kaspa, but they accept Visa. And this is a way in. Now, part of the purpose of us going beneath the surface is to kind of look at this and think about this critically because even though we can spend crypto the way we would spend dollars in our bank account or other fiat means, we have to look at this now and say, okay, so what is being asked of us? We would have to provide KYC. Tangem is working with a payment processor called Rain, RAIN. So Tangem does not touch the money. Rain processes the money. And here's the caveat. If Visa wants to shut down your crypto and say, you can't spend with Visa, they can shut down your access using their Visa platform, but they can't actually keep you from spending your crypto, just not on their service. So they don't touch your crypto. It's completely separate. That's good. The fact that they can keep you from that cyberpunks, I can't even say the word right now. Cyberpunks, we don't really like that, right? Because that basically says you can't spend the money how you want. You have to do it how a centralized organization wants you to do it. So that is something that we're going to be looking at and talking about today. They will be requiring KYC, and they want to know about your residence, your address, which for a lot of people, including myself, that's a privacy issue. A lot of us don't want to release that information, and rightfully so. I've actually seen a number of people today pretty concerned about that. Yes, you can withdraw the funds back to your wallet because apparently your balance is held in a smart contract that you control, and you can withdraw any of that unused USDC on the Polygon network back to your Tangem wallet at any time. That's good. At least they can't confiscate your crypto. So that can't happen. All they can do at worst is say, you can't use Visa. We're cutting you off. Anyway, I wanted to introduce Tangem Pay for those of you who have not heard of it. If you want to get on that waiting list, you can go to Tangem Pay. I'm sorry, you can go to tangem.com, not Tangem Pay, but Tangem. And they have a waiting list you can sign up for, and you can be contacted when they're ready for you to give up all your personal information so you can have access to this wonderful way to spend crypto. So it is something to think about in terms of trade-off. You'll get to spend your Kaspa, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your whatever you're holding on to. You can spend it anywhere. Buy a guitar, buy a trophy, buy a dictionary. But you're going to have to reveal things about yourself in order to do that. And so it's not a decentralized process. The long-term goal for a lot of us is to have access to an easy way to exchange Kaspa without hurting our own privacy and revealing things about ourselves that we don't want to. So that is something that we're going to be talking about a little bit today. So yeah, I'm done with the little opener here. Juan, I'd like to open up the floor with you. This is something that we were talking about earlier. So what are your thoughts on this? Is Tangem something you're looking forward to using?
Well, me personally, because of how much of a cypherpunk I now am, I won't be using it. But I do see the purpose of it, and I see these rails and these new ways of people being able to use their crypto as the Trojan horse to what essentially is available to people that they're not even aware of. And that goes back to what we've talked about several times and what you've mentioned, where our sovereignty is. I shared this with you in the conversation we had before we started the show. I didn't really even think about how I was introduced to crypto. I just took a payment because somebody wanted to pay me. For me, it was Litecoin, and I happened to open up a Coinbase account. Now I KYC'd on Coinbase, and whatever. I ended up eventually getting some Bitcoin, and then obviously that led to Casper more recently. But I think of my process and obviously where I am now with it. And yeah, so for me, it doesn't really I want to use my Caspa, and the way that I can use it is, as I've mentioned and shared, I can go ahead and pay, tip my barber with it, my masseuse, mani and pedi person. So I can use it. There's a couple ways, and then I'm really committed for myself to try to get businesses on board. So that's where I see a great use case for it, right? You talked about that, where this is something that will benefit businesses, and it's yeah, you have to convert it into a stable coin, but essentially these are rails that are going to help people get get into crypto, Caspa, whatever it may be, very similar to how I got into it. So I think of it that way. I think about, okay, what was it like for me before I even understood any of this? A lot of us are really entrenched in this and see the benefits of it, and we want this for everyone around us. But at the same time, it's, how many people are really going to care at the depths that we care? Um, hopefully more and more as we go along. So yeah, I see it as a net benefit to the entire crypto. I remember looking at that and thinking, okay, because this has been talked about for a little while in terms of Tangem coming out with the car, and Tangem's. Well, I use Tangem. This is my first cold wallet, and it's great, wonderful. And I remember the talk about this, but I hadn't really kept up with it. So you telling us about it tonight was the first time that I heard about it. Because for me, like I said, I'm looking for ways that I can actually onboard people. I haven't really talked about it much, but I'm still onboarding people. I worked out with with a friend on Saturday this past week, and I onboarded a 24-year-old. I didn't even have to explain it to him. It's super, like I've talked about in the past. I go, hey, download this wallet. He knew about Bitcoin. He'd sent some Bitcoin before, and it's so cool to get young people who just, you don't have to tell them anything. It's like, hey, download this wallet really, really quick. I want to get your opinion on it. And you know, I was able to onboard them. So yeah, all that to say, I definitely see this as a net benefit. And some people like myself, I don't want to KYC with anything. I've had to KYC for Coinbase, Kraken. That's cool. I'll do that because it allows me to get more Caspa. But now where I am with it, I want to see how I can actually use the Caspa and put it in people's hands. And that's where I am with it, right? So again, overall net benefit, I think it's a great thing. I think more of these types of products will be rolling out, And it's overall, it's a great thing because it gets more Kaspa, more crypto in people's hands, and it's the future. That's how I see it.
It's really insightful, and that's great that you onboarded two new young people into this. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't stopped, Kara. That's a constant thing. I haven't really talked about it as much, but when I meet people and they're like, "Hey, what do you do?" Oh, and this is pretty cool. So yesterday I took my brother to the yoga class, and we ended up have I wear Caspa stuff all the time. I actually have Caspa on my car. I had a little emblem of Caspa on the car too. But I haven't had really many people ask me about it, and it was really neat to have somebody in the yoga class yesterday be like, "Oh yeah, Caspa, I heard about that this year." And he wasn't on X or anything, and he was somebody pretty well known on Instagram. And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I got me some Caspa earlier this year." So it's pretty cool to have that starting to happen. I haven't had that happen much. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
For people who are just joining, we're talking about Tangem Pay and the fact that they're now going to be rolling out at the end of this month this ability for people to use crypto on a Visa card or anywhere that accepts Visa. Although this is virtual, it will be physical in the future. But I want to point something out here that's kind of revolutionary because I heard this on an interview last year. This is the first time that Visa has ever partnered with anybody to do this for crypto. They've never opened themselves up like this before. This is the very first, and they chose Tangem to partner with. And when I listened to that interview last summer, and I was listening and watching because it was a video as well, I was watching the body language of the Tangem representative and the Visa representative. And my impression was that Visa wanted this a little bit more than Tandem. That was my opinion. I just think I think Visa really, really wanted this. And they were super excited. The enthusiasm coming from the Visa representative was very impressive. They really wanted this. And this leads to some competition now because we can look at Ripple. They're partnering with MasterCard now. And we're hearing talks of this new card they're going to be coming out with, which is going to spur the free market. It's going to have people getting to be competitive and choose. And the cool thing about Tangem is that you're not limited to XRP. You can use Ripple, but you don't have to. You can use anything that can convert to USDC on the Polygon network, which is really amazing. And it's non-custodial. You can settle real world purchases. You can go to Best Buy and buy a television using Kaspa by converting it to USDC and running your Tangem Pay card in 33 states starting at the end of November. That is revolutionary. That's something that I have wanted just so that we can say adoption is easier now. We can start to say to grandma and grandpa and old Uncle Joe that lives out where there's only Visa and they don't have access to internet. And you may say that people like that don't exist. Well, my dad does not have internet access. He lives out in the boonies. And this might actually get him on board. So I'm excited about this. I know a lot of people are. This is huge. And not only that, in store, including merchants that accept Apple Pay and Google Pay can now accept Tangem Pay at the end of this month in America. And then after this rolls out for a little bit and the waters have been tested, they're going to roll this out in Europe because this is what they've been talking about for a long time now. And of course, I don't think they're going to stop at 33 states. I think I think they've got the vision of all of them. And of course, they're going to want to offer that physical card. And down the road, they're talking about opening up to other stable coins that are not necessarily on the Polygon network and it doesn't have to be USDC. But for now, it's just that. But that's a great step forward, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically speaking on the free market and how it plays out. I really do see, again, I see this as a net benefit for the entire adoption of crypto and getting Kaspa, Bitcoin, whatever it may be, right? Just getting all of this in people's hands. So it's pretty interesting that you read, well, if I'm correct, you said that you saw Visa being a little bit more anxious about wanting to work with Tangem. It's the first. I had no clue that it's the first time that Visa's partnered with someone. That I think that says a lot, right? It's
They
they were
wanted this.
excited.
They were
Okay.
enthusiastic. They wanted this. You could tell that Visa was excited. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because they said they obviously see what's coming, and I've heard. I've heard Jonathan somewhat speak on this. It's not about necessarily replacing all of that, right? But I think we get so excited about the potential of what we see within Caspa, and once you hold it, that's really for me. This always has been a very energetic thing. I think about what it feels like to be on this sound money standard, and like I just shared, I want to get Caspa in people's hands, but that's where I am with it, right? And I really, again, I really do think we gotta meet people where they're at. And most people don't think about having to KYC. Most people don't think about any of that stuff. And again, any way that we can get this, that people are using Visa, whether they know it or not, most of the time, if you're using a card, and it's pretty cool that they're coming out with the digital format. I don't know about you, Kara, but I don't really use cards anymore. I do app, everything on my with my digital wallet, so that makes sense. And just the way I see things trending, so it makes sense that Visa felt that way, and all these things are rolling out because it's like more of this in people's hands. And at the end of it, it's how many, yeah, I guess how many cypherpunks can we get can we get on board like us? But I even shared it with Kara. I was like, I didn't really realize I was a cypherpunk until I really got into this Casper community. I'm like, okay, I'm one of these people. I'm one of these people. But uh, yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride. It's gonna be a fun ride, and I think it's so cool that this community, take a look at the sentiment of the market and what you hear in other communities right now talking about the price of things, and that's really not how we even open this show. What we're talking about, what are ways that we can actually use this, and I think that's so cool that that's where our energy is and what we focus on. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, a fun ride.
Yeah. And right now, they're not set up to let people withdraw funds from an ATM machine yet, but they are looking at that. It is something they're wanting to potentially do. But right now, that's not an option. But having that is good for people who need that immediate fiat, whether it's paying their rent to someone and they can't use that digital wallet, right? Uh, and the fees are super, super low. You're basically just paying the Polygon gas fees that are subject to the USDC, right? So there's no transaction fees, there's no monthly account fees, nothing like that. And the Polygon gas fees are paid to the network, and they're not even charged to Tangem. I don't even know how Tandem's getting paid, honestly. I don't know how they're making money off of it unless it's just to get people to buy the wallet. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't really put much thought to that, but maybe they're doing it out of the no, they're a business, right? They're in business to businesses are in business to make more money. So yeah, that's interesting. I haven't really given that thought in terms of the structure of it. I'll look more into it and track this and see how it goes for sure.
Yeah, one thing that they put on the launch today when they made their announcement is they said that if your transaction is declined, then your funds remain untouched. If you decide you don't want to do something, you can pull your funds. So they're not able to confiscate it, right? They're not able to deduct money that you haven't approved. So anything that's pending, any transactions that are reversed, they're going to follow those standard Visa network timelines or guidelines, which is part of what's revolutionary about this because Visa's never done this before. This is a brand new first thing. It's never been done. Now, MasterCard, I saw them doing this or another token or another wallet or another exchange. I don't remember because it didn't affect me as an American. but I saw that MasterCard had started tinkering with this idea of letting people do that. And so in Europe, people could use a MasterCard, or they still can, but not in America. And now Americans have this ability coming up, end of November, to have this ability to use their Kaspa in another way. Now, one thing you said, Juan, that I think is really important here is we want to onboard people to Kaspa. We don't want people to have to feel tied down to the centralized way of spending, right? It's better to use your digital wallet if you can. However, there's a lot of normies out there that are still undecided about crypto and they're not sure how it'll be spent. And you hear people say all the time, oh, there's not enough adoption. We need business adoption. We need people adoption. Well, having Tangem Pay is the answer to that, in my opinion. I think this is going to lead to millions of more users. I think we're going to see this open up in a way we never have seen in the history of crypto, in my opinion. Uh, I think this is what I've been waiting for a year and a half. And if you guys go on my X page and do a search through all my tweets on the search bar and type in Tangem or Tangem Pay, look how many times I've pestered them. Okay. I have been pestering them and pestering them for a year and a half about this. So I am feeling really attached to this. I'm super excited about this. I am so grateful that they're making this available to the US before Europe, which we didn't think was going to happen. So I'm ecstatic, to be honest. Even though I'm a cypherpunk and I value my privacy and I don't want to have, more centralization options, so to speak. I actually am really grateful to have this centralization option because it just leads to making it easier to onboard people who just want to go and buy trash bags at the grocery outlet and just want to use money that they've put on their crypto card and don't want to have to do a fuss with selling or doing something weird to be able to spend. Anyway, I'm excited about this and I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. I really am. This is great. And if anyone wants to talk about this or share their experience with using the MasterCard version of this, I'd like to hear it, especially if you're from Europe. And Juan, you and I were talking earlier about how you were affected by KYC with a series of questions that you'd never received before that were super nosy. And I'm curious if you'd be willing to talk about that and what that was like to see that.
Yeah, I'm an open book. It kind of it speaks to what I've experienced recently, and obviously a few weeks ago I shared the lesson of what happened on October the 10th for me. So it's interesting. I'm in this place where, as I just shared, I want to put people on Casper. That's where I am with it, right? And I see the net benefits of what it's going to be like to have Tangem do it, what they're doing, partnering with Visa. This is going to help bring adoption in. I see these stable coins as the Trojan horse to what people will eventually get to, right? I think about my journey and just opening my Coinbase account and not ever thinking I had to KYC. I mean, that's the way I had to use my money, right? I didn't really think about it. So I really do try to put myself there when people have the questions and they say what they say about crypto because they don't really why would they need to use crypto? Everything's working out fine in their lives, right? That's a lot of pushback that you'll get when you bring this up to I guess quote unquote normies, right? Well, we were all normies at one point, and maybe some of you weren't, but I can relate to that because I was in that lane for quite some time. So yeah, what I shared with Kara earlier is just interesting how with what's happening within the markets, the sell-offs and how quickly things are dumping, it goes back to what I know at my core is they're trying to get a hold of everyone's Bitcoin these exchanges are, there's people playing around with the markets, and by people I mean the whales, the people that really can manipulate pricing in some way, shape, or form. It's just interesting how that happens. And I went ahead and I had some Bitcoin. What was remaining, I converted a large portion of it on October the 10th, but I had some Bitcoin left over. And it's what I was using, what I shared before. What I was doing is I was borrowing against the Bitcoin in order to pay the monthly bills. So I did it again just this last time. I kind of didn't want to do it, but I did it. And again, I started to see, obviously, Bitcoin dumped a little bit. Well, everything dumped a little bit, right? And as that was happening, I ended up thinking, okay, yeah, I'm not going to have this I'm not going to have this happen again. Let me just. So I ended up selling some. I remember how long it took. A big part of the reason why it took my Bitcoin was liquidated is because it took a while for me to send the Bitcoin. It took over 4 hours for it to confirm and to be sent from my cold storage to Coinbase, and by then it was too late. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna let that happen. Let me do it with Kaspa really quick, but I'm gonna buy the Kaspa right back. I'm just gonna pay off the loan. So that's what I did. I sent it was super quick. In less than 2 minutes, the Kaspa was in and out, and I converted it to USDC, and then I sent it to Coinbase, and boom, good to go. Paid off the loan, took the Bitcoin out, sent the Bitcoin over to Kraken, and I shared a post. It's on my timeline, but I shared a post. So officially 100% Kaspa. So I ended up converting the rest of the Bitcoin that I had to Kaspa, and that felt good. And then right after that, I get an email from Coinbase, and Coinbase is they had a list of 15 questions. So again, I've had a Coinbase account since 2017. I KYC'd back then. I've never had them ask any questions, never any problems. I know that a lot of people complain about all these exchanges, Coinbase. Never had an issue with them. I even have a high limit because I've moved a lot of Bitcoin back and forth and stable coins back and forth on Coinbase. But as soon as I paid off that loan and took the Bitcoin out, brought the account to zero, basically, I get these compliance questions. So I got 15 questions saying that they're not gonna let me put in funds, and I just found that hilarious because then Bitcoin dipped a little bit more, and that's when it went below 100 grand, and I wouldn't have been liquidated at all. I just, obviously from the experience that I had on the 10th, I'm thinking, let me just get it out, and it feels right to be so officially 100% Caspa, and yeah, that was the experience. It was just odd that I ended up getting.
You know what's interesting is that you had done your KYC in 2017. That's a long time ago. That's 8 years ago that you already did this, and then suddenly it goes to zero because you took your money out briefly or you had planned to do it temporarily, and then they come at you with all these personal questions of what you plan on. I'm guessing they're wanting to really know what you're going to do with your money, right?
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah, they
what.
were asking very specific questions from my activity because from where I'm sending it, why it was a list of 15 very detailed questions that they wanted answers to.
Can you imagine? Because when we go to the bank, they say, "Oh, you want to," and those kind of questions are so perverse to us that it leads us to want to use crypto instead. And now you're in crypto and you're facing the very same thing that you were trying to walk away from because Coinbase is now doing this. Do you think that they're being forced to, or do you think they're doing this of their own volition?
I think what I mean, I heard an interview with Brian Armstrong briefly today, and he was talking about the vision and what they see. And I see this happening. They're essentially trying to take the place of what banks are, right? People that are in crypto, they're going to be able to do everything up for. So I think, yeah, for compliance reasons, they're following. I believe they're listed right as a publicly traded company, right?
I
They're
believe so.
yeah, yeah, and they're like I said, I've never had any problems with them. So it felt getting those questions felt like what it felt like when I started to really dive deep into Bitcoin. back in, for me, it was late 2023, early 2024. So for example, I bought a commercial real estate property with an investment group, and I went in there, and I had a business that was doing pretty well, and I moved money around all the time, never had an issue with it. But as soon as I went to go send a large chunk of money, I had to walk into a bank for the first time in 4 or 5 years, they sat me down, and I had to answer all these questions, and it was a good amount of money. But that just made me want to look at this money thing even. It just felt off, right? So that's what it felt like getting all these questions. So yeah, that's the long-winded answer to. I do believe that they're just complying with what they need to do because they're trying to be the banks for people, and I think that that's what we're moving towards, right? So these exchanges are going to be banks for people, and they're not really going to need their bank accounts at the local banks. And looking at the younger generation and how they function and how they do things, it just makes sense. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
I'm glad you shared that because I think that a lot of us kind of need to know that because I think that's where we're headed. If they're going to start acting like a bank, this next logical step is that they're going to start asking what you're going to use your money for. And I gotta tell you, I think it's a dumb decision because if I had malicious intentions, why would I tell them the truth? What's the point of asking someone what they're going to spend their money on? Because if they're going to be honest, they don't want to tell you, and it's invasive. And if they are going to lie to you anyway, what's the point of even asking? It doesn't make sense to me. So if I'm asked by a bank, what are you going to spend your money on? I'm going to say hookers and a spice rack because I don't know what I'm going to spend it on, and it's none of their damn business, right? And I don't understand why they need to know what you're going to do with it, where you're going to go with it. That's what forensics is for. That's what digital forensics is for, is to see what we're doing with our money. Why do we need to answer it? That part I don't quite understand.
Do you want to? I just found the questions. Do you want to know some of the questions?
I would love to know.
Okay, so I said 15. It was eight. So it's eight questions. Okay. So the first one's please provide your employment information, including position, name, address, employer, and details of any business owned by you. No, thank you. Help us under the second question. Help us understand the current source of income, funds, wealth. Please be as specific as possible. Any supporting documentation you can provide, LinkedIn profile, business name, online presence, if
Ew.
self-employed, pay stub, W-2, et cetera, if available, will help
Do they want to know child
will help.
support? Like
It's going
that's
to
so
help
nosy.
expedite the completion of my review. I'm
Oh,
just not going to use them anymore. That's what I don't need to use them.
oh, I
Um,
don't like it.
Describe the primary use of your Coinbase account. I mean, they've seen all my activity. Please, the question for please describe the source of your funds for the incoming crypto into your accounts. I've sent a
Oh
lot
my.
of I've sent a lot of Bitcoin in there. Whom are these funds from? From what activities or services were these funds generated? Really? Okay, question
They
five.
want to know how you got it?
These are their questions. I'm reading a word for word.
Oh,
Can you please describe the use of funds from your account sent via the blockchain? Where are these funds going to? For what purpose? For what is your relationship with the ultimate destination to these funds? Can
oh
you,
my
question
God.
six, can you please describe your relationship with Kraken? And then they mentioned Morpho, which was I don't know why they would mention Morpho. I use that through them, but they know about Kraken because I send stuff back and forth from Kraken. And then do you expect this pattern of activity to continue? If yes, to what frequency and what volume? And then any additional information you can share regarding the transaction activity on the account would be greatly appreciated. That is so intrusive.
Wow.
I would have
So the
answered these
question,
questions back in the day. I would have. I would have been like, "Oh, my account's going to get shut down." But now that I know what I know, no way. I'm cool. I'm not going to use them.
I think it was the sixth question. It seems like they have more than one question to a question, so I'm not sure. But the question that said, "What do you plan on doing with the money?" Was that number six?
No, do you expect this activity? That was seven. frequency. What can you please just
Before that.
5? Can you please describe the use of funds from your account set via the blockchain? Where are the funds going to? For what purpose?
Yeah, that.
What is your
That to
relationship with
me,
the ultimate destination to these funds? Like, you're trying to track every. No, it's not happening.
that's what they do at the bank. And now we have crypto exchanges acting, as you said, acting as banks, wanting to get that personal information. How are you spending your money? And it's kind of a dumb question, too, if you think about it, because you're not going to use all your money for one thing usually. Usually, you're going to use it on whatever you want as you need it. So it doesn't make sense to me, right? If you're going to a gun and knife show, you might want to use some of it there, but then you go to Steak and Shake afterwards, and then you go and buy a rug later, and then you go and buy a birthday present. How are you going to describe that to them, right? How do you say, I'm going to buy whatever I want, leave me alone,
Right.
right?
Well, so I see this again, going back to what I heard from Brian Armstrong today and what they're attempting to do. They want to be the digital banks for people. So it makes sense. I see this, even though they're asking me these questions and I feel intrusive and I'm not going to answer them and I don't need to use them because I was using Coinbase to buy to use the Bitcoin, but I no longer have Bitcoin, so I have no reason to use them anymore. So I'm good to go. This is perfect for me. I see this as a sign. Juan, get rid of all of your Bitcoin, which I did. So this is it's
Wow.
not a, it's I don't see it as not necessary for me. It's not a bad thing, but again, I do see this as a net positive for people when because they're already doing this stuff within the banks. So this can just be a step for people to off ramp from old legacy banks, and I do think that this is an upgrade from the banks, despite them asking all these questions. It is an upgrade because you can get crypto, you can get Kaspa, not on Coinbase specifically, but you can eventually lead into, you know, I had to get Litecoin first before I understood. I got Litecoin was paid to me in my first year on Coinbase, and then I learned about Bitcoin, and then I was like, I want to get paid in Bitcoin. And I did, and then so yeah, just I see it as a great on ramp for quote unquote the normies, right? At the end of the day, it'll lead to Caspa because you gotta you
Yeah.
gotta go through Bitcoin to get to Caspa, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Speaking of Caspa, something was just pointed out to me about Tandem. So we're talking about Tandem Pay and all of this. They're using Caspa colors, Tangem is, when they're talking about Tangem Pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, they're using the Caspa color.
I feel like
It's
I
pretty
feel I feel
incredible.
I feel like Binance is doing the same thing, right? Wallet number one.
Oh, they're teasing. They're teasing. Oh my God.
I
Yeah, I
love
don't
seeing
know
all the
what's
activity on that.
developing.
I love seeing everybody get after them.
Yeah, Tangem Pay, having that access to the normies is going to be good. But like you said, if Brian Armstrong is now going to move into the direction of being the digital bank with Coinbase, we're really looking at a shift in how society is going to be using money. Because, like I said, I believe that Tangent Pay is going to lead to millions of more users. I've been believing this since last year. And now that you've just shared with what you just learned today from that speech from Brian Armstrong, we're going to have, in my opinion, a huge shift towards onboarding the normies, and they're going to go to places like Coinbase.
Mhm.
They're going to go to places like Binance, and they're going to probably be exposed to these very personal questions that you were asked today just for taking your Bitcoin out. Very personal questions. How are you going to spend your money? Do you plan on doing this as a pattern? How familiar are you with this exchange or that exchange? Where are you getting your money from? Tell us all of your sources of wealth. It's so invasive,
What are you
and they're
wearing
going to be
today? What
doing
color
this.
is your underwear? Might
Yeah,
as
and they're going to
well.
be doing this to normies, and that's the part that bothers me is because it's kind of introducing even the young people who've never had crypto before are going to think this is the new normal,
Yeah, and I
right? They're going to get
and I
this.
can see that, but going back to how I think it's. it's a better option than keeping your money in a bank, an old legacy bank. And this isn't, that's why I do think it's important that we keep bugging them the way we do. Hey, when Kaspa. So I think it'll eventually get listed on Coinbase and Binance and all these exchanges. And again, I was a normie, quote unquote normie, up until late 2023, early 2024. And I had Bitcoin since 2018. I just see it as a great step to get people in. But you're right. Once you dive in a little bit deeper and realize what this is, I think it eventually leads to more people adopting Caspa, right? That's how I see it.
That's a good point, actually. Uh, wow,
Yeah.
that's that's a very good point. And we just got a tip on Vivore. I think you saw this too. Um, we have to give a shout out to Truly. She just gave us a very generous donation right now for 500 cash on
Wow.
Vivore by listening to us. I know, that's incredible. So I just want to say thank you. Truly, thank you. Uh, completely unexpected, and it shows up now because Vivore updated their system so that everybody can see the tips that come through. They can see
Oh,
who
that's
they're
so
from.
cool.
Yeah, if they put their username, we'll see who they're from and how much it is. And that was extremely generous.
Yes,
So
that
thank you, Truly.
absolutely. Sorry to cut you off there, Kara. Absolutely, it's so cool. I mean, I mentioned this, Kara. It feels so good to receive Caspa for providing value to the community, and yeah, it goes a long way. That to me is worth so much more than what it shows in nominal terms on the charts right now. So absolutely, thank you. It's a big deal.
I agree. And the what it is now, we don't know what it's going to turn into.
Oh no.
So it's not even about we're receiving this as you said as a nominal amount, because it's an energy exchange. It's
Yes.
saying, hey, I feel you, I see you, I hear you, I want to give you some of my energy and my support and love and encouragement, and here's my hope that it will turn into something more than it is now. And that's how I take it. And so it's just such a delight and a beautiful gesture. It's super, super sweet. I
You,
really appreciate
you know how I've trained my brain for this, Kara? Whenever I see that
it.
amount in Caspa, and this is just out of habit because I literally buy sometimes it's only $10, sometimes it's a lot more. But I make sure I buy every single day because when I am exchanging the fiat and then I see the amount of Caspa and knowing that it inevitably is going to go up into the right in in nominal terms, right? To me, when I see that, I see more than $500. I just see it feels so amazing. And it's because I've trained my brain every single time I buy on a daily basis, and I don't do an automatic buy. Like I literally go in and do it daily because I love seeing the $30 or whatever the amount is convert over to that much Caspa, knowing that there's 28.7 billion that'll ever be issued. So yeah, it's a big deal. I just thought I'd share on
And you
how
do
my
it every
mindset
day?
is every day. Yeah, yeah. I bought every day. I started buying in May 2024, and again, sometimes it's not much, but I make sure I do that. So literally, that's why for me, and I've shared one Caspa is one Caspa. I see it for what it's going to be 5, 10 years from now. That's literally where my mind goes with it. I don't see so that's why I want people to that's why I want to onboard people. That's why it's really easy for me to have these conversations and I don't get a lot of objections when I share what it's done for me and having people on board. Does Julius, by the way, does
Awesome.
Julius have a wallet yet?
Yes and no. I
Okay.
control it, and I've not shown him how to access
Does he
it,
have his
but
own
he does.
phone though? Does he have his own phone?
Yes.
Okay. If you need me to, I'll onboard him.
No, I want to. I just gotta it's a timing thing.
I know
Right now,
I'm
he's
messing with you,
taking
Kara.
it.
I was just
But
thinking about that.
I will. I will. I have some money put aside for him, and he's got a wallet. He's got his own cast domain.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
he's
You'd mentioned
yeah.
that. No, I'll send him
So
$1 in Kaspa. He needs to have his own little wallet. The younger people,
oh
I'm telling you, younger people are so much easier to onboard. It's so easy. Um,
yeah, that's very sweet. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
yeah, well, let me know when he gets his wallet set up. I'll send him some Kaspa.
For sure. Well, we'll do it this week for certain.
Sweet.
Um, yeah.
No pressure, but yeah, hurry up.
Before I do that, I feel like the one thing that's even more important right now is I need to put some time aside to get my node public before the 7th because that's a date everyone's shooting for. And I have all these things I've been trying to do. Yesterday, I put time aside to make my node public, and I got pulled away into work stuff, and I just didn't have the time to do it. And today, my barbecue grill arrived, and I need to assemble it. And I have all this meat in the fridge. It's going to go bad unless I barbecue it. And so I need to put the barbecue grill together. It's just, how life is. It's one thing after
It is. It's
another.
nonstop. It really is.
Yeah. And for my birthday, I got a car stereo thing where you can, I guess, hook it up to your phone instead of using a factory version. And so I need to put that into the car. I've been waiting. So I don't know. I want to set him up with a wallet, and at the same time, I have a list of things to do. So what I've just been doing for now is just putting money in his wallet, and I'll just give it to him when we both have time for me to sit down and say, okay, here's how a seed phrase works, because he doesn't know that yet. And so it's going to take a little bit of
Does he
time. I
know?
want to spend at least
What
an
do you,
hour.
does he have an iPhone or an Android?
He's got an
Oh,
iPhone.
okay. So he probably knows about notes. So this is my process. I'll share it. I go, hey, download this really quick. I text it, or Caspian, they download it. With younger people, literally they figure it out. Okay, go ahead. You don't have to put any personal information. Name it whatever you want. That's the first step. Okay, put in the passcode. Seed phrase comes in. Take a screenshot of that. Lock it into your notes, because on notes on an iPhone, you can lock that in so that the only way you have access to it is through a thumbprint or face ID. So you can lock it in a note, which I do with a lot of my private information. I don't want anybody. And so I also have a VPN, so I have extra layers of security. And I've noticed with the younger people, they already know about all that. And then then they have the wallet. They're like, okay, yeah, it's set up already. It's set up. And then I send them one Caspa, and it's there. And anybody that's ever had some Bitcoin or had some crypto, they're blown away every single time. Every single
That's
time.
a great way to do it. And I have tried Caspium and had a really positive experience with it. But my concern is that Caspium will get shut down because I keep reading news articles about crypto wallets being under attack on these apps on
The
Android
apps.
and Apple. Yeah, and so I'm worried that if he sets his wallet up there,
Yeah. So
is he
here's my, and that's a valid concern. I can see where you're coming from. I don't keep any more than 5 or 10. Well, when I'm going to go see my barber, it's a little bit more. So when I go see, I keep most of it in cold storage, right? But I'll send 10, 15, $20 over when I know I'm going to spend it that day. And yeah, it's literally meant to be digital cash. So it's like you kind of think about it the way we grew up with it. It's like you never wanted to carry that much cash with you. You want them to have the hardware wallet. That's where you want to keep most of it. But if you're going to go spend something, this is how kids are going to be doing it in the future. Not that much. You don't want to have that much money. You want to have money that, hey, if kind of like if you had cash and it got stuck and and it fell out of your pocket, it's not that big deal. It's not going to break you. But you don't want him to put all of his Caspa in there.
right?
Yeah, I've had people say that, like, oh well, what if and that's been somewhat along the lines of how I handle it. Like, oh, if you actually want to store it, let me talk to you about Tangem, and I've done that several times.
That's excellent. I appreciate that. And I do believe that there is a way for Caspian funds to be transferred to a different wallet in the event it does go down. I think there is an alternative. I'm not sure what it is, but I did read it on a chart somewhere. So even if your funds are on Caspian, as long as you have your seed phrase,
Right.
you should be able to access it. I don't know if it was through Telegram bot or through some other wallet. I can't remember right offhand. I'll have to look into that. But it won't disappear. It's just going to be a kind of a pain in the butt. Right, but it'll still be accessible at least. So I'll do that. I'll set him up with Caspian, and that'll be super easy.
Sweet.
I'll do that.
Sweet.
So let's open up the floor. Are there any speakers who would like to share anything, any updates, anything that you're going through, or want to ask questions, or get involved in the conversation, or connect with us in any way? We're going to open up the floor to the speakers. By the way, Juan, I saw that you signed up on CastMap. I saw you on there. I said, "Oh, there's Juan. I bet that's him in Miami."
That is, am I the only No, I think me and Aaron are on there. So yeah, I did. I signed up for that. There's a bunch of. We'll let Seb speak on that when some of these things roll out. But I had I think I shared with you a little bit. I had a really great conversation with Seb on what's happening with cast maps. He's had a lot of ideas, and I volunteered to help him onboard businesses. And yeah, it's exciting with what could potentially happen with that. A cold call Bitcoin. Does Bitcoin has a something similar, right? Doesn't Bitcoin have a map similar to what Cast Maps is? Are you familiar with that?
I think that Seb talked about this, but I'm not 1,000% sure. I think that he did do this inspired by what they were
Right.
doing,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not.
but
I'm
I've
not
not
familiar with it
actually
either.
used it. Yeah, I've not used
I
it or seen it.
Yeah. Now that I asked you, I'm remembering a conversation that I had with Bitcat. I don't know if you know him. Um, Bitcat. I met him in Berlin, and he talks about how Bitcoin does have something like that. So I wanna find that and get all these Bitcoin businesses. I will call. If you're accepting Bitcoin, might as well accept Casper as well. And with what we have coming out with Tangem Pay and all that, this is going to be a beautiful thing. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm looking at the cast maps right now. I think this is me and Aaron.
I see Neo is a listener. Neo, I know that you've had some experience with the marketing aspect of this, and you talked about how there's certain athletes that won't be named, but certain celebrity athletes who you've been trying to onboard. If you want to come up as a speaker and talk about uh, your thoughts on how Tandem Pay might help onboard some of these athletes, or how you think that could even affect how Kaspa is marketed to people to onboard. I'd love to hear your opinion. I don't know if you have the time tonight, but I would really love to pick your brain about that. So feel free to request to be a speaker if you'd like.
Yeah, great to see Neo. I haven't seen him in a little while. There he is.
Awesome. What's up, Neo?
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Good, good.
Yeah, I've been my life's been crazy recently. I've been like very, very busy. Um, you guys probably noticed just my lack of activity. Uh, but I saw you guys on here, and I just had to hop on. Uh, so I don't have a lot of time, but I'm definitely happy to touch on some of this. So for Tangem Pay, I think an accessible like a realistic rival to like your ordinary Visa uh, through Tangem Pay and potentially on the Kaspa network would be like truly game changer. Um, it will definitely, undoubtedly help onboard people who are either uninterested in Kaspa or even more importantly, people who are just not even involved in crypto at all. Those people are going to be the easiest to onboard. And I think it was actually you, Juan, who mentioned it once on a space. Uh, you mentioned how we should be going after no coiners. And I think a system like this is actually ideal to bring on no coiners. And I do think that's a really good approach for Caspa because, like we've mentioned in the past, it's like if somebody has been involved in crypto and hold Bitcoin for, since it came out, they're going to be a lot harder to flip. Whereas if somebody who comes in brand new and is new to cryptocurrency in general, if they see Caspa and Bitcoin side by side, it's clear as day which one is the better pick. And even if you ask Bitcoiners now, and you say like if Caspa and Bitcoin launch side by side, which would you pick? They'll tell you Caspa. Like they've told me Caspa before. Um, so it's kind of uh like a personal thing at that point. I think in time the people who have the open minds will come around. Um, and honestly, for me personally, I believe that it's like they'll have no choice. Um, But back to bringing on these no coiners, a system like this, what Tangem's building is going to be really really good for this. Like in my opinion, it's the best onboarding because it rivals the systems that people use today that are not even crypto. Um, like Visa, for example, like your credit card, it rivals something like that. That's really easy for somebody to understand because they use it every day. So something like that is going to be really, in my opinion, it's gonna play a huge role in onboarding. But we will need stable coins on Caspa. So we were actually just talking about this recently. I think the stablecoin market on Caspa is going to be one of the really big steps forward in terms of adoption because it's the first easy stepping stone for anybody to get onboarded with crypto as a payment system. And right now we don't really have like people you can use Bitcoin, you can use Lightning, you can send crypto, but we don't have a true rival to these systems that everybody uses every day. Um, so yeah, I think that what Tanger's building is really cool. I was actually just reading about it today. Um, I actually still am, so forgive me because there might be more that I need to know about this. Oh, actually, I'll add one more thing, Carrie. Um, you mentioned like some big celebrities. Uh, I can't say like names, but there is definitely some really big celebrities that uh, I'm I'm not in contact with them right now, but I have the connection, and I know that these people would like Caspa, and two of them are already Bitcoin advocates. They're athletes and they accept payments in Bitcoin. Like big athletes. Most people here would probably know them. Um, yeah, actually, definitely. Like most people here would definitely know them. Um, and these people, in my opinion, would really love. Kind of still planning around how to properly onboard them. I do have some plans. Partially in the works, to be honest, but I can't say anything yet because I don't want to oust them, and I also don't want to make it seem like something it's not. Like I am definitely working at this, um, but I won't say anything until it's solidified.
No, I love that, and thanks for the update. And I wanted to just mention something real quick since you were talking about these celebrities, which who they're athletes, right? And it got me thinking about how Tangem Pay is they're partnering with Visa to do this way of being able to spend money anywhere. And it got me thinking about the Super Bowl and how MasterCard pays a lot of money for these Super Bowl commercials, right? There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. They've been doing that since 97. What would it be like if we saw a Visa commercial during the Super Bowl talking about Tandem Pay and crypto? By this time, we're going to have a Kaspa stablecoin. And if you look at the Tangem colors for Tandem Pay, they're using the Kaspa color. I
Yeah,
don't know. I just see this happening, and I can see athletes looking at this and seeing, oh, they're sponsoring us. Let me be a part of this.
yeah. Even if they're not directly, like if that were to happen, the Super Bowl commercial for Tangent Pay, I don't even think that they would need to directly mention Caspa, and I think it would still benefit Caspa just because of how open Tangem is about their Caspa support. Like they're always like they're great. They're great for the Caspa community, and I think because of that, if they had a commercial and didn't even mention Caspa, it would naturally draw people in. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That would be awesome to see. I think even like I said, that's so soon though. When is? Wait, no, sorry, I'm getting confused. When's the Super Bowl? Sorry, I'm not a
It
big
is.
NFL guy.
It is. I'm a big NFL guy for sure. It's in February, so it's early.
Oh, so we got plenty of
Yeah, we have
time.
plenty of time. Yeah, so it's only the season is halfway, about halfway through. Not even halfway
Okay,
through.
yeah,
So yeah,
yes, I should know this because one of these guys all just is an NFL player. Um, yeah, that's very interesting.
yeah. That's awesome that you're connecting the athletes like that. I can tell you, I've been in Miami 17 years and very connected as well with some of these people. And they're, they hear it from me, and it's only a matter of time before we get, and some of them have it right, but they just, again, the Bitcoin thing is the thing that's being talked about, so that's what they're speaking to now. But trust that they've picked up some Caspa, it's happening, and it'll be cool. Yeah, I can't imagine um, it not being something that's spoken more about in the near future either. So
Yeah, and the way I look at it with these athletes is if they're like the guys that I'm thinking of, um, they accepted Bitcoin back when it was still like controversial. Like, I mean, it still is, but back then it was even more so. Um, so the way I look at it is that they are definitely open-minded, and that decision has treated them very well over time, and they're very public about it. So I think like they'd be the people who are open to something like Caspa, um, and that's why I'm actually like pretty excited about this potential. Like, really, what I want to do is I just want to get them to like it. I don't even want to ask anything of them. I think if they do truly study it, they'll naturally come out and voice that. Um, if I have the right conversations, I'll probably try to sneak in like an ask just to get them talking about it if they're not already naturally doing that. Um, but really, I think that these people would love it. Like i- if you guys knew who they were, you would agree because they accept Bitcoin. They did it a long time ago, and they're very vocal about it. Um, and they're huge athletes, like worldwide name athletes.
yeah, there's a handful of guys that have been public about it that I think are okay, that accepted Bitcoin for their salary, right? Are you speaking of that? So
Yeah, a
yeah, yeah,
portion of their salary.
a portion of their salary. So, but the first athlete that was well known for doing, I think he did it. I want to say in 2019. He was and I'm a big sports guy, so I'm a big nerd for sports as well as I am for Caspa. Uh, but he was a vet. He I want to say in 2019 or 2020, he collected his entire salary in Bitcoin, and people thought he was crazy. And now he looks like a genius. So that's
Who
why
was that, Juan?
Russell Okug, he's an offensive lineman that played for the. I believe he accepted it when he was with the Carolina Panthers, but he played for the Seattle Seahawks for a long time. Really good player. And then also, Odell Beckham came out and talked about that. Saquon Barkley is very entrenched into the Bitcoin community. So a bunch of those guys have gotten people within the league to talk about it. My best friend runs a clinic here where I train with some of these guys. I shared that I onboarded some people. I get to work out and throw passes with some of these people. So I was a quarterback 20 years ago, but I can still sling it. Um, and some of my workouts are throwing the football around with some of these guys. So trust me, they're hearing about this. And it's only a matter of time before we hear another like a Russell Okug, like an Odell Beckham. Oh, I took all my salary. I took a portion of it in Kaspa, and I think it's only a matter of time, and we will see.
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, it'd be cool to get one of those guys on a space. That's kind of what I had in mind. Uh, I really just want to invite them. I I have I've had like business relations with them in the past, and I did a lot of work for them just for free, just to help them. Um, so I think they would take it like with an open mind if I asked them to just hop on and have a conversation. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Uh, yeah, you mentioned I can't say anything. Never mind. The so yeah. Anyways, I wanted to hop on. I do have to go. Uh, I really appreciate you guys hosting this. Keep doing this. Marketing is on us. There's no one else. Shout out Blockchain Banter. Uh, you guys are doing an awesome job, and I'm happy to have caught up here.
Thank you so much, Neo, and for sharing that. And it's always a pleasure to hear from you. The direction of this thing that was brought up, which is people receiving crypto as their salary. So I understand that you need to go. I want to just thank you for being on some time with us. So
Yeah,
thank you,
absolutely,
Neo.
absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I love all of
You're
you guys.
welcome.
So
Love
absolutely.
you too, Neo. Great to see you, brother, and hear your voice again, man. It's been a minute. I have your focus melts, by the way. Focus melts, dream melts, glow melts. I'm gonna try them now. I was just waiting to speak to you. Thank you.
I
Thank you for
appreciate that.
sending
I can't
that.
wait to hear what you
So
think.
Thanks for
awesome.
sending that, and I'll give you my input for sure once I try them. I'm pretty jacked right
I,
now as it is, so
I appreciate that. Caspa payments coming soon. It's still in the works. Once we do, I'm trying to figure out a portion of Caspa payments to donate directly to Core. I want to figure out how to give back through Better Melt. So
love it.
we'll keep you guys updated on that. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
So, so yesterday I spent 4.5 hours, something like that, listening to a Dalton Fisher podcast featuring ex-CIA John Kiriakou for this interview on how the CIA recruits people, how they do surveillance, how they do tracking, because that's the kind of stuff that interests me and it's stuff that I want to put into my book. So I want to have some accurate information. And during that process, one thing that I learned and this directly involves crypto is that the number one way, the number one motivator of recruiting someone is greed. So most people can be recruited to be spies through greed, and then they get to pick how do they want to get paid. Do they want to get paid with cash, pounds, gold, Bitcoin? Or in one case, one guy he just wanted a signed basketball from Michael Jordan. He didn't even want any money. He wanted the basketball. So everyone has their own motivators, and he was talking about Bitcoin. And so I wrote him last night and asked him some things about what does he know about Kaspa, because I'm curious. But there was something else he said too that I also wanted to just kind of bring up. I know this is kind of moving the direction of the conversation, but since we brought up salary, well, in the CIA, they're paying some salary with crypto already. But here's the other thing, and I thought this was so interesting. He told this story of he had just recently recruited someone into the CIA as a case officer, and he had just got someone in. And he said, look, what I need you to do is take this bed set and I need you to go and put it in XYZ location. And in the bed set, there's going to be a little hidden compartment with a little chip. And you're going to input the information I need from you and have a very small window of access where it will output information. And that way, if someone ever discovers the chip, they won't find the information because it will be gone super instantly. And so I asked John in a comment on X last night, I said, could Cassia messaging help the CIA in the future when it comes to having technology and a chip in a bed set? Right? Because if you think about it, Kaspa is very, very fast, which is what they need. They need something that'll disappear immediately and be immutable. And I asked him, so I'm waiting to hear back. I don't know, but I would like to get him on the show. I've asked him if he would be an advisor, a CIA advisor for my book, because I really could use someone who has that knowledge. So I'm waiting to hear back. He did like my post, but I would love to get him on the show as well. I know he's not exactly um, a normie celebrity or an actor or an athlete, but in my mind, being ex-CIA and having taught a lot of things and been in so many locations, and he's a great storyteller. I would love to have him on for these kinds of things because I'm curious where Kaspa meets stealthy communication. Where does it meet the other side of utility, right? So anyway, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Juan, do you have any thoughts on Kaspa's utility and its benefit to organizations that need to have encrypted information sent very quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity there within how Caspa is sent so quickly, confirmed quickly, and again an upgrade to what we got from Bitcoin. So absolutely, I can see it as a use case. Who was it that you wanted from the CIA?
His name is His name is John Kiriakou. I'm gonna try to say it slowly.
I
Kiriakou.
see he came up.
And
Yep.
he did a podcast with Dalton Fisher. They did a 4+ hour interview. It was phenomenal. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I need to get familiar with him. So looking him up right now. Curious if anybody else has any thoughts. Anybody wants to come up to the panel and
Yeah, let's talk to speakers. If anyone wants to join up here, feel free. We'd love to get some thoughts. I see Coder of stuff here. I want to pick your brain. I don't know if you know, but it's official.
I
I
think we
do want to
all
pick
do.
your
I think
brain.
we all do. I have never. He doesn't have a voice yet, or hasn't jumped on spaces. I haven't heard him ever.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's great.
So
Great to see him in the
again,
crowd.
Rover, Brock, if any of you want to jump on, Bishop. And then Truly, I see you just popped in on this space. I don't know if you heard Juan and I thanking you earlier for your generous tribute. Thank you so much for that. That was completely unexpected and very generous.
It was like receiving $1 million. That's literally what it felt like.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get some requesters. Let's see who wants to connect with us. If you want to come on and share some thoughts or whatever, the floor is yours. So feel free to click that mic and yeah. If we don't get any requesters, then I can start talking about my concern with Tangem Pay. I don't know if you guys want to go back into that
Oh,
direction.
I want to.
So it would be nice to have someone else. I don't
Yeah,
know.
if nobody comes up too, I wanted to mention this. If anybody connects with me, if you're going to be at the Caspa, I am flying up to New York on Friday. That is we haven't even mentioned that. It's Caspa's fourth birthday on Friday, Kara. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I
that's
know
what Liverpool.
I'll be in Liverpool, so I'm flying up to flying up to the Syracuse airport, and then I'm actually taking my younger brother with me too. So my brother's in Miami.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I surprised him. I'm like, we're going to New York this weekend. So that'll be fun to be there. I got a VIP ticket, so I'm looking forward to being there. And I know that the Caspa Center is looking to raise funds to extend the lease. So, that's another thing that I did want to mention. If anybody wants to contribute towards that, I don't have, I should look up where the site is and whatnot. But yeah, so I'll be up there for the Caspa. I've had a number of people already reach out to me that they're going to be there as well. So I'm looking forward to mixing and mingling with fellow Caspians and meet some of you guys in real life IRL. It's great.
And that was great. That's great that you're bringing your brother, whose name is also Juan. I talked to him on my birthday. I had a conversation with him, and I bought a Cutco knife from him. And it was cool to hear him talk about how he's very into sports. And I thought,
Oh,
oh,
we're
he's just like his
we're
brother, Juan.
I took him to yoga this morning. The I mean, he's the most athletic. By the way, we're two. Okay, there's four. Yeah, there's four of us Wands in my family. That's why my profile says, oh
No,
yeah. Yeah, so I'm letting you guys know, right,
four?
letting you in right now. We heard it, like which one on one, all that. We heard it growing up. So yeah, my father's name is Juan, so that's why it says Juan G. My middle name is Gabriel. My younger brother's name is Juan Ernesto, and then I have another brother who's Juan Joel. So super creative.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a Puerto Rican thing. So my dad's a very prideful veteran of the army. But yeah, he named us all Juan. So, thanks for calling us out on that, Kara. Appreciate you. And yeah,
You know,
we're so I took him to yoga this morning. He's never done it before, but he's naturally just very athletic, and he was able to do a crow pose. And I was the only one who did a headstand, so I had to boast and brag about that. And some guy behind me, actually, I posted a video on the proof of workout. Some guy behind me, when I went up, he goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! How you doing that?" And it's typically quiet. We're all in flow when we're doing it, so that it was hilarious. Yeah, so we had a great time, and
that,
yeah, he'll be up there with me at the Caspa experience this weekend. We'll be there Friday morning.
that crow pose is super hard. So I know he's a strong person because that's not an easy
Since
pose to
since
pull
I'm
off.
6 years older than him, I mean this I remember when he was 5, 6 years old. I was slinging footballs back then, and I remember thinking, okay, let me throw this as hard as I can because I have a feeling he can catch it, and he did, just natural athlete. The instructor Chip was even, oh, look at this guy, his first time doing yoga. He did not look like it. It looked like he'd been there many times before. Figures. I had to show me up.
You know what's interesting? There's a parallel that in your family, there's all these wands.
Yeah.
And in my family, there's a bunch of Michaels. I was married to two Michaels, and my dad's name is Michael. So every time I meet a Michael, I immediately think I'm not even going to look in his direction. He's not going to be on my radar for anything. Forget about it. Not going to flirt, not going to be a boyfriend.
Sometimes
So
swingers
yeah,
down. Yeah.
when I see a Michael, I run. And so the exception being, Michael Sutton. I'm going to let him be on the show. We're going to talk to him, have a ride on the show, right? But yeah, usually I have a knee jerk reaction to that name. He's the
Yeah. Yeah.
exception, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
It sounds like there's a little bit of trauma. Trust me, it wasn't easy for my middle brother, who actually lives up in New York. We'll see if we can connected with him. But
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
That he's the exception.
Yeah, so he's and he's the middle child, the smallest one. He dealt with a lot because he's just a year and a half younger than me.
Well, he was a very positive. He, the one that I talked to, the Ernesto one, he was very positive, very friendly, and I really like that. You guys have a really good vibe in your
Yeah,
family, and I
he's
think
I act
Lucy, I think is to give her credit.
yeah, absolutely. Because Lucy, that's who Lucy took in when I was 17 and I had to legally divorce my parents. But I had, I was his guardian when he was 10, 11 years old. And we do have that connection. Sports is the reason the community was so open and took us in and definitely helped us out when we were teenagers. Wasn't easy for him being 11. But the cool thing is, mom and dad they got back together 7 years later, and it's been great, and I've shared it on other spaces before, this, Kara, but the fact that my parents are in our lives and they're contributing to this, they're helping quite a bit. My brother was a cook for 15 years. I don't know how much he shared for 15 years, and now he's getting to feel what it's like to go out and try to make things happen for himself. So yeah, he's selling Cutco. Appreciate you getting that Cutco from him. He's got my customer list. I sold a lot of Cutco back in the day. So
Wow.
we'll see how it goes. He's got every opportunity to strive, and he's getting a lot better. It's been great. No
And now
doubt.
he gets to go to Caspa's birthday and be a part of that experience and see this community and be a part of it and learn about just what's going on with Caspa and being a part of that. I love that for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looking forward to it. I surprised him when he got here. He got here yesterday, and I go, "Hey, we're flying. We're flying." I love doing that. We're flying to New York this weekend.
That's awesome. Well, I'll be there in spirit. I hope you guys have a lot of fun out there. Everyone going. If you want to be a part of that or help contribute, uh, yeah, that's something you can get involved with. Is Caspa's fourth birthday. Very exciting. So, Tangem Pay, I want to bring up a concern of mine, if that's all right. So, we talked about a concern being KYC, but and mine is along that line, but it kind of goes into a little direction. I just kind of want to bring this up, and I brought it up to Tangem earlier today. So, in California, I'm part of the Safe at Home program. It's very difficult to get into. And out of the 25 million people that live in California, only 6,000 of us are part of this program. So it's not easy to get in, and you have to get approved by the district attorney, and then you have to go through a very long, trying process. And I went to court, changed my name, and I was given a government issued PO box. I have concerns about using Tandem Pay because I'm part of the Safe at Home program. And the only people who get access to my address are people who I voluntarily give it to. So even on my driver's license, it has my government issued PO box. It doesn't have my address. Even my driver's license is suppressed at the DMV, so even the police have to get special permission to look at my address. That's how private it is. And it's because of things in my past where I feared for my life. And you guys know my story about how I didn't have sovereignty. I didn't have any of that. And so this is for my safety, having a safe at home process. And I want to use Tangem Pay. However, I need them to make this accessible to people who are in the Safe at Home program. And this program is in many states. It's not just in California, although mine is just California. So every time I get mail, not a package, but mail, it goes to another city. The Secretary of State's office receives my mail, and then they'll send it to my actual address. So everything I get in the mail is forwarded to me from the Secretary of State. That's how private I live, right? I never have strangers visit me. They don't know where I live. I'm very, very private. Well, I told Tangem this. I said, I want to use your KYC. I don't mind saying, hey, I'm me, but I don't want to tell you where I live. I don't want to have to fulfill this residency option. I said, I want you to consider not just Rain as your payment processor, but look at options that will appeal to safe at home participants so that we can legally show you who we are. We can show you the paperwork, show you we're part of this program. We should be exempt from this. I don't want my information there. And even people who are not in the Safe at Home program, there's people who have legitimate concerns for their privacy, although mine is legally protected. If anybody on the internet decides to come at me and dox me and put my information out, I can sue them and they can go to jail. That's how legally protected I am because of being in this program. It's a pretty big concern, right? Um, so I would like to see Tangem consider those of us who are in this program, even though it's a small number of us. We matter too. I want to use Tandem Pay, but I don't want my information on a list because I know those lists are sold. I know that if I give my information to Rain, then there's a huge chance that it'll end up in the hands of some scammer in India. That's just how these things work. And it's how it always goes down. And I don't want I don't want that. I don't want my information going out there. Oh, we have a speaker, Sam. I didn't even see you come up. Sam, please talk. Yes, please. You have the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys. So yeah, thanks for giving me the chance. Since we are on the topic of privacy, I wanted to bring something up. So you said you're worried about your information being handed over to somebody, some scammer in India or whatever. I think even if that doesn't happen, even if your information is given to the government, it's the same problem, right? And that's very likely to happen. So yeah, I think privacy is a real concern, and as most of the Caspians would agree that we higher layer solutions are usually not the best. So I think maybe we should have something on the L1 itself, like a coin join or mixer kind of thing that can help with privacy.
Yeah, I think it would be good to have more privacy options. I'm a big proponent of privacy. However, I also understand that with Kaspa, one of the reasons why it is gaining adoption is because by having this level of transparency, it's easier for banks and other centralized organizations to embrace Kaspa because it's easier as far as regulatory stuff. However, because of the utility options that are available, the programmability that's going along with this, there's a lot of hope that Kaspa will have privacy options for those of us who want a different way of approaching crypto and spending our money and having some element of privacy. And so yeah, there's the Cas Mixer, and as we know, um, the guy behind it, I forgot his name. I hate that I don't know his name. Juan, do you know his name? He he's been talking about the different updates he wants to do with Cas Mixer to make it have more options, more ways of having privacy protections and that kind of thing. And so we're looking at that, right? We're all watching it and to see. And I think when people go to Liverpool and go to the Caspa 4th anniversary party, they'll get to learn more about that Cas Mixer because the guy that created that, isn't he also the host, Juan? Isn't he also hosting that event?
What his name slipped in my mind too. Let me see if I can find out who you're speaking about. You're not thinking of Chad though, are you?
No,
Okay.
he was someone different, and he's behind Cast Mixer. He did an entire interview with XXIM, and he talked about the roadmap for Cast Mixer and the kind of things he's wanting to do with it over time. And it's really fascinating. He's got a lot of ideas about what to do because for him, privacy is really important. And for Caspa Silver, right, we've heard him talk about his hopes for Cast Mixer. And there's a lot of us, you and I, and a lot of people in Caspa want some more privacy because if we look at the ledger, we can see everything. It's a very easy way to be nosy and check people out and see what they're doing with their money, which is good if you're a bank or an auditor. But the fact is, a lot of us want to have some kind of sense of, leave me alone, let me have my money and back the fuck off, right? And I
JD.
think a lot of us feel that way.
JD. Is that who you're speaking about?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
JG. Yeah, JD. Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see more privacy. If Caspa didn't exist, I would be all in Monero.
Yeah,
And
I
I've
think I
always,
agree. Like, yeah, I was just saying, I think I just want to add quickly. I think I agree. Like, if there is any form of KYC happening, then you're back to square one. Nothing like if they can identify you in any shape or form, uh, like the easiest would be you buying from exchange and just putting it into a wallet. They always know. Even if you move it around a few wallets, it's very easy to track. And
yeah,
with AI, and with AI, more and more complicated transactions would also be, they'll be able to track them as well. So unless there is like a real privacy solution, uh, yeah, if they can identify you and if you get KYC on chain, then all of it like it was for nothing, right? Uh, yeah, that's how I look at it. Like if everyone becomes KYC in some form, then we just lost everything. It doesn't make any like all this was for nothing then.
yeah, I'm with you on that. I think privacy is really important. And like I said, I would be all in Monero if it wasn't for Caspa. I would choose Monero over Bitcoin any day. My only issue with Monero is how easy it is to be 51%ed, especially with Cubic. So it's got its own problems. I can't put money in Monero knowing how vulnerable it is. I just can't do it. I don't trust the security. But
Yeah,
the
and
privacy features are so impressive and beautiful, and I love it. And people say, oh, well, then just invest in the other one. What is it? ARG, the pirate one or whatever. There's a pirate coin. And I thought, well, you know what? That's something I would consider if Caspa wasn't here. I would be more a proponent of privacy than Bitcoin because I'm not a big fan of the open, transparent ledger thing. I'm not. I really am not. I wish I could opt out of it and say, leave me alone. However, I
yeah,
think that the trade-offs that Caspa offers are so beautiful and so vast that to me it's worth it to be a part of Caspa and just wait for more privacy options to be available.
yeah, I think so. Right now, I think again, I'm not like too into technical, so as far as I understand, so I think there are some privacy options. Monero is like private by default, so it's good from privacy perspective, but then it becomes a problem when you introduce like regulations and possibility of it going mainstream. Um, and then you have like Zcash and Dash, which have different kinds of algorithm. Like Zcash actually makes it private, and Dash, if I understand correctly, is more like a mixer kind of algorithm. So I think we need like both of them like combined, so you can like mix your transaction that you put into a shielded transaction. Because right now, if you go from exchange to your wallet on Zcash and then from wallet to your shielded address, they know you went from wallet to shielded because one side was visible. So you need like a mixer before that to go to a shielded address, and then you keep your stuff like the long-term savings into that shielded address. But nobody knows where that came from or where it went, right? That's the idea. And Casper, given the throughput, should be able to easily at least implement the mixer part. We can get to the shielded wallets part later, but even if we get to mixer it, like it solves a lot of issues like around privacy, I would say. Especially if a lot of people adopt, then it becomes harder and harder as more and more people join the network to distinguish where the transactions went.
I missed the end of your question.
Oh, so yeah, it wasn't a question. I was just saying, like, Kaspa should be able to implement the mixer part pretty easily. And I would say, it's a quick win on the privacy realm, like on the privacy side.
Oh, okay. Well, that gets into, to me, that reminds me of why I want to get Jack Kyriakou on the show, him being ex-CIA, because he has every reason to want to have privacy, right? He comes from an organization where everyone needs maximum privacy. And I have reason to believe, and I won't say why, but I have reason to believe that the CIA is a big fan of Kaspa. And I would like to see privacy measures that we can all use. Now, I don't think it's going to happen right now. I think this is just my opinion. But I think that when VPROGS gets here, I think we're going to see a lot more programmable things. And I think that our vision of having some more privacy will be way beyond mixers at that point. This is just a guess. This is just my opinion. But I think we're headed that way. I think it's inevitable. Yeah, so I don't know. I just towards the direction of Caspa giving people the option of being transparent or having more privacy measures. I think it's inevitable that we're going to have options because in my view it's the perfect coin to do that with. It's it's all the things we already know. Everything that Caspa is, right? It's decentralized, it's scalable, it's fast, it's this, it's that. It's all these wonderful things, right? 10 blocks per second and instant confirmation. It has all these wonderful qualities and very few trade-offs. So it has the foundation to be able to pull off anything, in my view. So why not? Why not have stuff that's going to be privacy? I think it's going to be inevitable. I think it'll be something that's just already going to happen. And since we see Cast Mixer already starting, right, that's just the beginning. We're early. So I think it's going to get more evolved over time really easily. I see Casmi here. Do you want to come on as a speaker, Casmi? Or Onion? Or Bishop? Anyone want to join? Shalom? Feel free to request as a speaker. We'd love to hear from you. Brock. See familiar names in here. Oh, the Black Bash. I hope I'm getting that right. He's the one doing the cast mixer. The
Dab.
Black Bash. Am
What's
I
that?
saying that right?
Yeah, Coder stuff put that up there. I saw Dab Lack Splash.
Yeah.
So is that I mentioned JD? Is that okay? That must be his account.
Maybe I'm not sure. If I heard his voice, I would know it's him.
Yeah, I just looked it up on YouTube, and that's where I got JD from.
Okay.
It looks like that's probably his X account.
So we have Onion as a speaker. Onion, how you doing tonight?
Hello, just saying hi. What's up?
What's up?
Not much, not just listening to y'all talk about Caspa.
That's awesome.
You're out there on
We
the,
also
the
have
trenches.
Buffalo.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what was that?
No, okay, Cass Bunyan, you're always out there in the trenches, man. We've gone back and forth on some messages. I just always appreciate what you do on a daily basis. You're a
Of course.
soldier on the front lines.
I appreciate it. I can't stand people bullying Kaspa, man. We just get bullied every day, and I don't like it. So I gotta bully them back.
Yeah, we see you. We see you, we hear you, we feel you. So we appreciate you big time.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Y'all do the Lord's work hosting these phenomenal spaces that the Bitcoin community should be jealous of. So we're winning with y'all. So thank y'all.
Yeah, we wanna thank all of you guys that jump on, and even those of you that are going to be listening back. It was pretty cool last week. Last week's call had, and I shared this with you, Kara. I believe you saw the numbers, but there were over 2,100 listens, and that took us by surprise. And but when we think about it, not really, right? Because we're over here speaking truth, and the truth brings in people that are truth seekers. So yeah, we appreciate the listens. We appreciate the support. It's been fun running these spaces and getting to know you guys, and learning about more about Caspa and what this is going to bring to the world, man.
That's definitely true. And thanks to Coder of Stuff, he did say that JD is the backsplash.
Okay.
Am I saying that?
The backsplash.
I can't even say the name without getting tongue
Hold
tied.
on. The backsplash. That'd be a fun name.
Backsplash.
The black. I mean, yeah, you could say it that way.
Can you
Dab
imagine trying
lack.
to say that
Is it
10
dab
times in a
lack
row
splash?
fast? Say it 10 times in a row fast while you're drunk.
Or it could
I
be
dare
dab
you.
lack splash. Dab lack splash.
No, man, I can't.
We had a few other speakers on up here who came up first. We got Caspian, we got Buffalo.
Yeah, what's up, Casme Buffalo? What's up? Buffalo's got his hand up. How you doing?
Let's go to Buffalo. We missed you last week, brother.
Hey guys, yeah. No, I'm glad you guys are here. I did not. I just got back from a movie I went and saw. I don't know if you guys seen it. Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
They brought
Which
it
one?
back to the first one. They brought it back to the
Okay.
theaters. So my lady went out and got some pizza, and we went and saw it. So I just got back and I just got this notification. I was like, oh shit, it's what day is it? I was like, oh yeah, it is Wednesday. But anyway, glad you guys are here. Sorry I missed you last week. Been crazy busy. Um, but yeah, glad to be here. Sorry I'm late. I just got home.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I saw those Back to the Future movies and I saw them a long time ago. And then recently I saw them streaming. And so I watched two of the three again. Um, and it's so different watching it now compared to then. Because when I first saw them years ago, it seemed as if it was the coolest thing in the world. And when I see it now, I see it as so corny and weird and
Well,
incestual. All
oh
awful.
yeah. No, it was wild. Like I was like, oh shit, like it's in the theater. I gotta go see this on the big screen. I haven't seen this since I was a kid. But when I went, this is Kara, this is gonna make you feel really good. You ready? It was their 40th anniversary.
That's cool.
I felt so damn old. I was like 40 years. Oh my God, 1985. Wild.
Uh-huh. Yep. And I just turned 45 this week.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Very fun times. How come we don't have a hoverboard yet?
You know, I was asking myself the same damn question.
I
I feel
blame
like we're getting
fiat. I
gypped.
blame I blame the money in the world right now. We should have all these things. We've been held back by the
Agreed.
crap money out there. So some things have been held back, or else we would have hoverboards. So I give it another 5 years. Once Caspa catches on, we'll definitely have hoverboards.
You know, Juan, you joke, right? You joke.
I
No,
joke,
I'm
but I'm being
serious.
serious.
No, I know, but that's the crazy thing is when you give the people power and you give the people stability that Caspa brings. When you're not in a survival mode, you are able to be creative, right? So we have so many people in survival mode living on fiat and their money keeps losing value. But if you have a bank account that belongs to you with an asset that only grows every year, then then that's something less that you have to worry about. And then you can have the time to, set up a business and have that free time to be creative and to have these things happen, or
Yeah.
to be able to make these
Yeah,
cool things.
exactly, brother. I say it jokingly, but seriously, right? Think about, if our money wasn't messed with the way it's been messed with and diluted, and people weren't stripped of their savings, and it wasn't going back to the top and their purchasing power. I mean, I believe that there's a book on this. This is a concept that I really looked into, but I want to say it was written in the 40s, 50s about how they predicted around this time that we'd be working 10, 15-hour weeks in terms of, because our money would have, held value, and we would be able to work on our gifts. I mean, I really do believe we're, there's 8 billion people on the planet, but we're all one of one. We all bring something very, people are actually not necessarily working to go make this paper fake money that most people save in and work towards. And they actually had their values stored in a sound system like Caspa, what we would create. If
Oh
you've
yeah.
been, yeah, if you've been in Caspa for however long, you've probably gotten a little taste of it. I know I can speak to that. There's no way I feel free being in this ecosystem and understanding what this, because it's money. It's money that, and I know my value is being
Hmm.
stored economically in this protocol that's preserving it, and we've never had anything like this. So yeah, brother, I'm I say it jokingly, but really, we would, the free market naturally makes everything cheaper. Entrepreneurs attack and go towards making things better, and things that gets spread around to the economy when the money's right. When
Exactly. But also, I mean, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was on. But just to remind people, or if people are new, you're not just saving your value. You're taking your energy, right? So you're working, you're taking that, you're making it valuable, but also you're storing wealth at the same time, which is just fucking cool. So not only are you saving your energy to be used in the places you need it to be, but I'm not saying the longer you save it, but as time goes on, it increases in value. So your energy that you put out in the world is not only being saved, it's growing. And that's amazing. And that's another reason why I love this ecosystem and I love Caspa.
Thank you for sharing that, Buffalo. That's really cool. And yeah, Caspa is a really great ecosystem. It offers so much. And it's just the beginning. And every time I look at what Key is doing and see the different projects that they're doing or saying that they're going to talk about and release soon, or we look at just the different groups and individuals creating things and saying, look what I'm doing with Caspa. It gets me excited. There's a lot going on, and this is so early for us. I can't even imagine where we're going to be. And with I say that with complete irony because I'm writing a book about what I'm imagining the future is going to be of Caspa. But I really can't imagine what the future is going to be with Caspa because there's so many directions it can go in, and it's really really cool. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Buffalo.
Yeah. Thank you for let me speak, guys. Appreciate it.
Of course. Casmi, do you want to share any thoughts on any of this?
Uh, I'm actually pretty low key tonight. I wasn't gonna leave you guys hanging if you didn't have any speakers, so I'm just kind of hanging back tonight.
Fair enough. So one thing we could talk about, I see Onion's hand up. I'd like to get his opinion on this too. One second, Onion. So one thing I've been looking in the financial news because I was trying to figure out why is the cost of everything, why is the price of everything going down? Because I don't usually check the price, but I saw people panicking on X and I thought, what's going on? So I checked the price of Bitcoin and I looked at the price of the top 50 coins and I went, whoa, everything's down. What's happening? So I went on financial news. I started reading what's going on. And apparently people are feeling fear because of wondering what December is going to hold as far as interest rates, right? And apparently there was a 25% chance odds of it not going in the favor of the public. And so if you look at the numbers of the top 50 coins and kind of add them up and do an average, it averages about a 25% drop, which is exactly the number of the odds of the points going down in December. So those numbers are not random.
That's wild.
Yes. Onion, what are your thoughts that you had your hand raised? Go ahead.
Oh, I don't have any comments on what you mentioned other than that's definitely a crazy coincidence. Hopefully everything pumps. Hopefully Jerome Powell pumps our bags. But well, I guess my question is kind of related. I have a price question. I was debating a Kaspa Maxi. I won't say who, but here's my question. Do y'all see or like what are your thoughts on like the liquidity cycle? Do y'all think within the next like few months, few weeks, like all the altcoins were about like if there's an alt season, are y'all gonna sell like Kaspa into the rally? And you know how people trade altcoins? Like, is this the best trade of a lifetime with Kaspa? Or are y'all and like you trade your Kaspa when it rallies and you convert it to dollars or whatever, and then you rebuy back in when Kaspa maybe crashes, right? Or do you just buy and hold Kaspa and you never look at the charts? Who cares if it's up? Who cares if it's down? Diamond hand it for 10 years, and worst case scenario, you miss a liquidity cycle. Kaspa goes to $5 and crashes down to 70 cents, right? 60 cents. Like, what are your thoughts on that, you know? Just curious.
I'm number two.
You what?
I'm in number two.
Number two? Okay.
What's that? What's
Yeah.
number two?
That's diamond hands, 10 years. Who cares
Okay.
about the price? Up or down, not switching into liquidity, not participating in the altcoins. I'm just trusting Kaspa. That's me.
Juan is number two as well.
Damn, I'm number two as well.
Well,
I'm number
well, I'll
two.
speak to that, Onion. I think the way you're breaking it down, and even how you're asking the question, and I think that's a pretty typical way that most people come into crypto and what they're
Yeah.
seeing when they're looking at the charts in nominal terms. So the people are going to be all over the spectrum in terms of where they are and how they see these things. So if you're still messing with meme coins to try to make money, it's a completely different mindset than what Kara and I just shared, right? I do see the price, I do look at it, but for me, this is really not about what's on the surface is the nominal price of what Kaspa is, what any of these, for me, it's Kaspa or Bitcoin. But I also understand the I understand why people come to this to try to make money because I went through that process. For me, it wasn't a long time. I actually heard about Caspa through somebody who promotes meme coins because I wanted to know, like, what's the hype behind these meme coins? And this person actually said, "Oh yeah, there actually isn't anything. It is all hype. It's literally, speculation, right?" So there's a market for that. There's in sports you can bet on things and you're speculating. I personally have never been anybody that's done that, but I also understand why people do it. I've always been somebody that's been able to create business, generate value, and attract all the money that I've ever needed. So for me, Caspa literally is an opt out of the system where I'm able to store my economic output that I've put forth for the past 20 years that I've been working. And now the money. And that's what I see coming to the forefront within Caspa. So for myself personally, I've moved a lot of my time hosting these spaces, having conversations on a daily basis. Like, I wasn't somebody who was on social media. I was spending a lot of my time building things and actually making money. But now I'm transitioning to a part in my life where it's okay, I understand that game, played it, I get it. And I do think people need to go through that to eventually get to, where I am right now with it, where Kara is with it. Where it's just like, yeah, I want to use the Caspa, right? I want to use it. I want to onboard people. They're naturally going to be like, oh shit, look at the price and feel all that. That's a part of the process. I think people need to go through that process. But part of the reason why we're running this show and getting opinions and talking to all different people from all walks of life is to see where you're at, and then hopefully you're able to relate to some of the information that's here, and you can give input, and we can all learn from each other. Because I can tell you that I've we got my man Bishop up. I'm curious on hearing his thoughts, but I can tell you that I've been fortunate to kind of come out of that system, and there's a lot of people that just don't have the same opportunity. So we're really early to all of this, but I think the sooner you can see, I mean, I think you held Bitcoin for since 2017, 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and I
Yeah,
think seeing how you do things and how you operate, I've shared this with you in private messages, and I'll keep that stuff private if you want to, but I mean, I see where you're at in your process, brother. You're young. You gotta get out there, battle front lines, defend what you see, and just go through your process with it. But yeah, man, I see you eventually being like Kara and I, being like, yeah, I'm holding diamond hands. I mean,
dude.
I think that's how you kind of are right now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Dude, I am 100% diamond hand.
Yeah.
I do not ever time the market. I was debating someone who was saying I should time the market. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
with Caspa, and I'm just thinking, I don't know, maybe that's dangerous. I feel like that's a great way to lose a lot of Caspa, you know?
It is. It it,
Yeah.
it, it technically is, right? So I think when you move over to where we're at, right, it's like I have a chunk of the Caspa that I mean, I operate in Caspa. I operate in Sound Money. So it's like I want to pay with it as often as I can. I want to use it. I want to put it in people's hands. I want people to feel this. And then, I know that it's going to go up and to the right on the charts. This is how this works. Go ahead, Kara.
Yeah, so I have a thought on this, which is I just raised my hand twice. Sorry about that. I'm all in, and it is partly because I don't have the time to time the market. If I had more time in my day, sure, I might put some throwaway money into some altcoins and see how many millions I can make off of $50. But I don't have that kind of time, and I see a lot of it is so high risk. And I say this remembering Mantra. Do you guys remember Ohm? They went up to over $8, and in 3 hours they crashed, and now they're what, 19 cents? They're lower than the Melania Trump coin. We saw even the Trump coin go over $70, and now it's hovering around 7 or something like that. We've seen things rug time and time again. It is so risky. And some people may say, well, isn't it risky to invest in Caspa right now when it's 4 cents, 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents, and they throw a number at it? And for me, I feel this is just an opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, none of us are. But for me, it's sound and it makes perfect sense because I feel that over the years it's only going to go up. And sure, I could take money out and say, yeah, I'll put some into Ondo because I know it's going to go up. Yes, I could put some into Hype because it's probably going to go up again by a lot. Yes, Aptos might be a good bet for a month or two. We could look at XRP and say, yep, that's going to go back over, $3 pretty soon. Ooh, Ethereum will reach 4,500 again. And we can look at all of it and go, yeah, Bitcoin's going to reach 126,000, no problem. But I'm still steadfast on Caspa, even though I see the charts and I see that it's not just up, 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 and that it's had sideways action. And it's gone down, and the last 12 months have looked stable. For a lot of people, they want to see up. They don't want to see stable. For me, I see this as something that gives me confidence that it's not going to rug pull. And that's why I'm in it. Buffalo, I see your hand up.
Before
Go
Buffalo
ahead.
goes, I wanted to comment, and we'll let you go, Buffalo. You know, it's interesting how you break that down, Kara, and what it feels like for me, right? So I'm just gonna share how I mirror this to my life, right? I have personally built businesses, and no business that you build when you're building this, right? It's like the charts. So when I look at the chart, to me, I feel that I go, okay, look at Caspa's literally just turning. Now, obviously, there's all this research that happened prior to launching Caspa. But once you get to know the story and you find out what it is, and then you compare it to the one that's number one, right? Bitcoin, the one that's working and why the Bitcoiners are the way they are. So for me, studying just how this is evolving and the reason crypto was even why it even caught on, why did Bitcoin catch on, and then why were these other altcoins even created, right? So once you get really deep with that, you know, these charts are no different than building a business. And most, you're right, most people can't, they gamble, but like I personally, I played the lottery one time in my life, and I was like, I didn't win. Why am I, I'm not going to waste my money doing that. And same thing. When I remember I went to Vegas. I turned 21 in Vegas, and my buddies were all throwing money. I threw $20 in the slot machines, and I go, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not giving away my money. But when I started building my skills up and building businesses, I go, okay, yeah, it's, you know, there's going to be days and weeks that I don't make anything, but then I can sit down and provide. I just see Caspa as a mirror to that. You know, that's why I relate to it the way I do. And it takes a little bit of work internally to get to that point. So for me, this is a very energetic, spiritual. I mean, I've attracted money in my entire life. I've never understood why I need to continue to work for it. And now that I get the money game and how the fiat system extracts it from us, now I can relate to, you know, again, my brothers, my dad, people that are literally working for that, saving in that, and don't have the time to look at what's really happening in that system. So that's the difference. It's like, so when people think about, oh, you know, you're looking at the how can you handle it? It's gone down 50% in the last year. Yeah, I've shared this before. If the number if how much Caspa you're having to if you're gambling with it, you're too overexposed. You can't really move. I'm not a financial advisor either, but I'm speaking from my experience and how I see this. So I just think people are going to be in different stages in that. And at the end of this, it's like you want to get to where we are with it. It's like, of course, we have diamond hands. Like we see this and we feel it, and we're just now learning how to really articulate this and relate it to people. But this is all new. It's a completely different tool that we've gotten. And of course, you know, Bitcoin was the one that started it. And there's no denying. You kind of need to understand Bitcoin before you really, really, really get to the depths of what I'm talking about with Caspa. So I just want to share that, and then I'll go ahead, Buffalo.
Oh yeah. No, I like what you said. It was well put. I come from a different perspective to answer your question, Casmanian. Um, I mean I see what Caspa is, and I'm very very stoked on it. Um, but there are points that Caspa's going to hit that I'm going to take profits, absolutely. But where I'm going, because it is so damn cheap right now, is I'm trying to buy as much as I can, because when I first started with Caspa, I was like, I'm gonna get 100,000 and I'm gonna do it. Cool, and I'll be done. And then I realized, oh shit, I don't want to stop buying this because I know what's coming, right? We see the writing on the wall. So then I kept buying, and then I got my next 100,000, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep, I'm gonna keep buying, and I'm like, when it hits where it needs to hit for me, then I'm gonna take out some profit, because um, whether I want to diversify my portfolio with stocks, or if I want to diversify it with property, which is my main reason. I want to do that before I die. So I would like to diversify with the money, and for me, instead of waiting the whole time. Now, with that being said, there's a bag for my Caspa that I spend. There's a bag for Caspa that I will hold for a long time. And then there's a bag of Caspa that I will sell at certain points when I'm ready and I'm not going to get completely screwed by taxes. And then I'll take that money and I'll move it into a different asset. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, that's dumb. Like, can you imagine people that did that at Bitcoin, whatever? It's like, well, at my stage in life, there's certain things that I want to accomplish before I hit 50. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my perspective. So I'm not going to be gambling. I'm putting this money here. It is segregated from the other money. And when it's ready, when it's matured, then that's when I'm going to sell it and I'm going to move it around to different assets.
Dude, I love it. Juan, you also gave a beautiful answer as well. Buffalo, I love your answer. Yeah, I'm on the same page as y'all. I'm probably gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hold mine probably for like 10 years, but I do have a small portion that I'm gonna sell just so I could re-diversify into just other goals. But yeah, exactly like what Juan was saying, I'm gonna, this is, it's like a business, you know? It's, if you look at all the crypto, you look at the story of Bitcoin, you look at why altcoins even exist. I don't know. I think actually I have a question. How would if you had someone who had the same level of knowledge, and this is open to everybody, if you knew someone who was as technically knowledgeable on Kaspa as all of you, if they were as smart about Kaspa as all of you, but they wanted to trade and time Kaspa, what advice would you have for them? And if they were to do it with like their whole bag, like not even save 10% of it for long, like what if they just 100% were just timing Caspa? Like they have the best asset on the planet and they're gonna freaking time it. What are your thoughts?
I would say, do you, boo boo, do you? I think people need to go through their own phases. I don't ever. I speak from experience when I talk about what's happening and how I'm going about it. So I encourage people to go down their path. Like Buffalo shared his strategy. I'm with that. That's where he is in his path. You're sharing where you're at. You know, Kara shared where she's at. So I think that people need to go through their own path. So I always encourage people to follow your instincts and what you think you need to go through, because there's probably a lesson somewhere along the lines there for them to get to where they need to get to. And it's going to be different for everybody. So this isn't, there's not one way with this.
Okay, Juan, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So let's say, for example, we're dead till maybe another year, right? I doubt that's going to happen because we have Dag Knight coming in like what, 7 months, 8 months, Dag Knight and VProgs. But let's say you had by that time you're just buying Caspa, you're buying Caspa, you're buying Caspa. All of a sudden you look and you have 2 million Caspa. Okay. Are you not going to hold 1.5 million of that? And when it hits $5, are you going to take 500,000 and cash out and still hold Diamond Hand your 1.5 million? Like, if you're in that situation, would you be tempted, or are you going to just hold it all? Or are you going to do that and maybe buy another house or two houses or a piece of
Yeah.
property, or you know what I
I
mean?
think I think depending on what my life situation is at the time, I would make a decision. So like I make decisions on a yearly basis, and that's how I allocate what I have in Caspa and what I had. I'm 100% Caspa now, by the way. I shared it early in the call.
Hell
So
yeah.
I'm
Hell
a
yeah.
100% Caspa. So I personally can take a 50, 60% drawdown. So let's say it does stay where it's, or it just stays where it's at. That's how I think about it. I think worst case scenario. And I can still pay all of my living expenses for the next year. And I'm also able bodied, I'm able to go out there and make things happen and attract money if I need to. So that's the way I do it. And I'm also, again, this is me. I'm not a person who's so I'm 44, bro, and I've never bought a house. I never had a mortgage. I don't have debt. So, and that I've also been able to reap the rewards of what it's like to build a business and generate a ton of cash flow. So I've done all those things in my life, and I'm not somebody who's attached to stuff and things. Like I'm sentimental about certain things. Like, for example, one of my life goals is I want to go to all 30 NFL stadiums. So for me, I would, or say my Bucks made it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made it to the Super Bowl, I would go to that, right? But I'm still going to that regardless. It's just, I'm not going to change where I'm at based off of the price of where Kaspa is. And I definitely don't want the dollars. I don't want to go back to that. That to me, and to me, where I'm at, that doesn't make sense. But I can see for you where you're at, what you're trying to accomplish, how it would. So yeah, that's how I would
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
I want to give Bishop had his hand up. Bishop, we've had you up on the panel.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Another great Wednesday night beneath the surface. You guys always crush it. I mentioned on a space with Neo before, the charts in crypto really bug me out because people follow them like it's Apple stock, like it's Google and all that stuff. And it's just not the same commodity. Like you can buy Apple stock, but you can't go into the Apple store and buy an iPhone with Apple stock. So if you're watching crypto charts to, predict price and all that stuff, yeah, there's movement, but all movement is based on adoption and utility, right? Like I was everybody loves Wicked, right? The Apple face on Twitter. He mentioned it being Casper being a hot potato is terrible for it. And I was like, well, if Bitcoin was a hot potato right now, they could feed their miners, right? But it's too expensive to be a hot potato. But so when you guys are talking about all these things, I'm thinking to myself, like, of the Caspa I have, and it's not a lot compared to a lot of you guys, but it's enough to know that if I hold what I can be cyclical with it. Can I generate Caspa by doing things? Can I pay for Caspa by doing things? All of that creates the ecosystem that Caspa needs to raise in price. Because again, I love Juan when he says one cash is one gas, right? Because it is. So all you're doing is worrying about cash. You're not worried about number go up because if you're able to generate and then utilize, then Caspa grows organically because there is no choice but for number to go up because you're using it. Apple goes up because the iPhone's better. Apple goes down because the iPhone isn't better. It has nothing to do with spending the Apple stock. So when you're looking at charts, it's like, yes, there are patterns. There are things that make it go up and down, but the truth and price will always be in adoption and utility. And that's why I've stuck with Caspa so much. I'm too much of a cynical to be 100%, but I also have probably 8% in meme coins, hoping that they run up, right? Like, so I'm not in it to get rich, but I'm in it to be truthful to what crypto's supposed to be. Are we sovereign from the bullshit that government making a decision can tank our stuff? Are we able to make cheap transactions? Again, even with Tangem, I appreciate what they're doing. And when Kara was explaining it, I go, okay, great. So Visa's not going to charge the standard 3%. So the vendors aren't going to charge 4% so they can make money on that. That's awesome. I'm glad that they're negotiating it just the fees based off of Polygon. That's fantastic. That's going to help so many merchants save money. But again, it is that entry level to Caspa because you have how many trust layers do you have now? You have Tangem, you have Visa, you have Polygon, instead of it just being Caspa. So when I look at all these things together, I think the true focus of what we should be doing as a Caspa community is look at adoption, look at utility, and just move that way. I would hate to hold 1 million Caspa and never use it. So I don't necessarily think the term diamond hands truly applies here, but I would never transfer it for something else. I signed up for Kraken a month ago, and everything that I got in a reward, I transferred to Caspa immediately because I don't want other coins because no other coin has tech and utility like Caspa does. So my true focus in all this is just adoption utility. The price, it does bug me out because I don't have infinite cash flow. I currently haven't had cash flow for 6 months, but watching the number go down really doesn't mean as much as, can I still use this? Will there be outlets to make that happen? Can I go earn more? And that's where I'm truly in love with the Casper process, is that through adoption and utility, it doesn't matter what the chart's going to do, because as long as adoption utility grows, that number goes up. It has nothing to do with a standard stock chart.
Bishop, that was beautifully put, man. appreciate you coming up here and breaking it down from that view. It's a utility and using it. I mean, you brought up so many beautiful points. And yeah, brother, thanks for not following Bishop. You got to follow Bishop, man. And
Appreciate that.
I know we've had you on here a couple of shows, and we got to talk. And I ran a Vivor live with Bishop on Tuesday, and it was, for me, this vision of spending my time in Kaspa, it's here on Blockchain Banter, but it's having conversations with each of you, and we had an opportunity to sit down and talk sports and relate that to Kaspa. So we see the link and how, I'll just share this. I villainized my passion for sports for such a long time. And in being in this position of where I am in life, I realized, oh, what I'm doing when I'm, because there was a time in my life where, oh, I got to go out and make money and make shit happen. Why do I care about what happens with the Buccaneers? Why do I care about sports? And Bishop and I, we had a conversation that he tried to put up on Vivor, and it didn't work. This was probably, I don't know, it was like 2 months ago. And it was a conversation that he and I had that it was meant for just him and myself. And now we have a beautiful connection, and he's shared that he's been looking for work and making things happen. But we've had some conversations where I've gotten a lot from listening to you, Bishop. I mean, I get
Yes,
just as
sir.
much back. So it's, at the beginning, he was like, I'm not trying to take up your time. I'm like, bro, I have time. I'm trying to spend my time with cast with people. And so we're thinking of running a show on Vivor, just talking sports, relating it to living on sound money. And I'm just excited about doing that with you, brother. So thanks for coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tuesday's show was so great. As Kara mentioned, and we all know life is life and things kind of get tied up. It was funny as you were talking, Kara, about how the things you had to do today. I was literally carving up a brisket. That's why I wasn't able to hop on. So I was carving up a brisket because I got to barbecue that tomorrow. So I'm listening to your barbecue troubles. I'm like, yeah, it works over here too. But no, our conversation this past Tuesday was awesome. I I try not to shill because it's my number one thing to do on the internet. Period is shill. But this is Caspa, right? So
Yeah,
I didn't want to say it in the beginning, and I'm glad you brought it up. But
I
yeah,
had to. I had
as
to.
as far as Juan and I know in Juan, we want to make that connection every Tuesday between 11:30 and noon. So stay tuned to both of our Twitters. Check out your podcast feed for the Terrible Wrestling Takes podcast. I'm going to be uploading the audio within the next day or so, as long as life doesn't get in the way. And then when the video is going to get cut together, Juan and I will have opportunity to make clips and put it on our YouTube and put it on Twitter, just to kind of see how Cast works in real life. We went live on Vivor. They don't hold the video like YouTube does, so you have to do it auxiliary. But in being live on Vivor, we kind of had that thought process of, can we bring sports in real life and non-Caspa conversations on the Caspa network? And that's our true goal with this particular program that we're going to try to put together. And it's going to be an awesome journey because, like you said, these last 2 months have been beautiful, and we can really make this grow. And I'm excited for it. So that's enough chilling for me tonight. If I'll stay on as a speaker in case I got to pop back in, but I appreciate you having me on this particular one. And I'm excited for the growth of Caspa and what we're trying to create as well.
Yeah, man. I never heard the term shilling until I got into Kaspa this past year, and I'm like, what is that? And it's just people talking about what they're up to, and that's that word. I don't really get it yet, but it's you got to talk about what you're up to and what you're doing. And this is a decentralized project where we got to promote each other, and if you don't talk about what you're doing, nobody else will. So this is all about supporting each other, and it's a beautiful thing that Vivor is doing what we're doing. This is being streamed on Vivor. Kara and I are getting tips and cat. Like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is what this is about. So
Awesome. I want to give an answer to Onion that's a little different than what's been given here. He asked what I would recommend to someone if they had a big giant bag of Caspa. When would they invest it? Well, I'm going to be honest here. I mean, usually I don't talk about investment because I'm not an advisor. Again, that's just an opinion. But I would recommend that people invest in Caspa when it's 10 cents or less. I think that would be a smart decision personally, just me knowing the charts and when things are up and when they go sideways and how long they're down and up. I think right now being in the 5 cent range is a steal. That's just me. I think it would be a super smart decision to get it. When it starts going above 10 cents and we're at 11, 12 cents, that's usually when I stop buying and I wait for it to go down again and I buy at 10 cents, 9 cents, 8 cents. And of course, now that it's really low, I mean, I'm just having fun with it. But yeah, I would say if someone's got a bag of 2 million and they want to buy Caspa, when would be a good time? I would say anytime it's under 10 cents would be smart, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an advisor, just an opinion, and I don't usually talk investment. And Juan is right. You should follow your gut, follow your heart, do what's right for you. Everyone's path is different. But for me, looking at the charts the way that I have, I would say anything under 10 cents. Go ahead, Onion.
Hell yeah, I agree. I think that yeah, anything under 10 cents is a steal. Prices right now, free Caspa, guys. Caspa is basically free right now. You know. Oh, yeah, and I have a question I was going to ask you, Kara, but I just want to share a dumb story. I was traveling this weekend and I saw a quarter, or sorry, I saw a nickel on the ground and I didn't pick it up because I was just lazy. And I had realized 10 minutes after, I was like, wait a minute, that was one Caspa that I just left on the ground. And I like thought about it for like all day. I was like, damn. But anyway, so Kara, I guess my question is, what about the opposite of what you shared? What if they do buy Caspa? They buy a big Caspa bag at 10 cents, and then Caspa goes to $1. Like, what do you say to someone who wants to cash out 100% and then buy back?
I'll say I'll say the same thing that I said to someone else who asked me in a DM. I said, if you feel that your gut is telling you to sell, then sell. If your gut is telling you to hold, then hold, because your body is telling you to self-preserve. You got to do what's right for you. However, if I'm going with what I would do, I would say hold until you reach the amount of money that you feel you've reached your financial freedom where you can play around with it the way you want. And for me, the number is $2.69 before I'll even fathom the idea of profiting a little bit off of it. That's just me.
I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna send this Twitter Spaces to the person I'm talking to, and hopefully, yeah, all beautiful answers. I love all of y'all are basically saying, do what's true to your soul, which I like. Do what works for you, essentially. There's no right or wrong. So I like that. That's really good.
Do you, boo boo? Do you?
And Onion, if you don't mind me
Yeah.
interjecting, what the majority, and of course this isn't financial advice, but what the majority of traders do is they'll hit their points. So they'll sell a certain percentage at a certain level. Of course, this is a different. That's when they're dealing with crypto, right? So Caspa, I don't consider is crypto as a lot of people understand it. It's better than Bitcoin. It's what we wish Bitcoin would have been, and it's going to hold its value better than Bitcoin. We all know this if you just do the research, right? That's why we say research Cas. But the majority of people, when they're trading, if that's something that you want to do, definitely educate yourself before you start playing with your Caspa like that. But they'll have percentages. So when they hit those percentages, okay, well, we're hoping it's going to hit, 250, or we're hoping it's going to hit 5 or whatever, is they'll just have their percentage. They won't be like, okay, I'm going to sell all of it now. It's that percentage. And then you have something that was 5 cents and now you just sold it for $1.40. And now you have this profit. And of course it's going to go down, but you took the profit, right? And now you can go play with that if that's what you want. But that's what a lot of other people do who only trade crypto, and that's their lifestyle.
Yeah, I see. I see. Thanks for sharing that. Me personally, I do not have the balls to trade Kaspa. Kaspa's too genius to be playing around with.
Well, and I agree with you, and that's kind of what I'm saying is this is the idea of a lot of traders who are in and out and want to make their profit, and that's fine. But like I said, Casp is not crypto, so it's going to be a completely different game. And I think when Dagnite and VProgs come out, I think what July is its projection around there. I think that it's going to change the whole. I think it's going to change the financial system. It might be a slow creep, but I think it's going to change all of crypto and the financial system. So
Yeah.
playing around with it is, if, in my opinion, financially dangerous right now.
I agree. I like that you're saying, yeah, a lot of people trade crypto or altcoins. Yeah, I don't think Kaspa's an altcoin, so I like what you're saying. That's a good mindset you've got.
So, Onion, how does it feel to leave Caspa on the ground, dude?
Oh, that was awful. I was actually thinking about that. I saw at first I saw the cord or the nickel, and it was on the ground. I saw it and I was like, "Oh, it's my lucky day. It's a nickel." Um, but I didn't pick it up because I was lazy. I was like, "Oh, it's fiat." And I just started thinking about coin. It's not real nickel. It's just fiat. Why would I want more fiat? And then I'm like, I'm a Caspa maxi. Why the hell would I pick this garbage up? You know. Um, Ironically enough, I was actually traveling, and I was about 1 mile away from the Federal Reserve. Um, Ironically enough, so I was kind of rebellious. Like I was in DC. I'm like, man, I'm not picking this trash up. Leave this litter on the ground. Um, but looking back, I could have converted it into Caspa. I was like, damn, I just really left one Caspa on the ground. So I kind of blundered that, but I'll survive. I'll survive.
That could have been $62,000 of fiat you just left there.
Oh, I know. I just left a portion of Dagnite on the ground, you know?
Onion, you're fired.
I'm picturing Onion in like an onion suit going through everything that he's describing, and I can't stop laughing at your process, bro. And that nickel. Oh man, I love when you come up and talk, bro, and share your perspective.
So I
I'm so entertained always.
my
Oh, thanks, dude.
my
Appreciate it.
my question is, Onion, is this your Bitcoin pizza origin story? So 10 years
Ooh.
from now, are you going to look back and go, damn, that nickel, that'd be $12,000 right now?
Dude, that's a good question. This is probably, yeah. I'm missing out on a lot of pizzas, definitely.
And the way fiat's going, that $12,000, dude, that could have been a sandwich.
Aw. I really blundered this. I'm gonna have to explain to my kids in the future how their dad just threw away their college education because he didn't pick up a nickel, you know. Sorry, kid. But hey, maybe I'll find another nickel on the ground. I'll pick that up.
I
That's
think that's great. I was at an Asian market today. I had to buy some soy sauce, and the woman in front of me dropped a penny, and she knew it fell because she looked down at it. And I'm a big woman. I'm not going to bend down for a penny. So she looks at it. I look at it. She walks away. She leaves it there, and I walk away from it too. And now I'm wondering, did I just walk away from a fifth of a Kaspa?
oh, just threw away 1/5 of a Caspa.
I mean, I hadn't done my stretching or my yoga. I know that Juan does his yoga in the morning. I do mine when I have the inclination. It's not on a routine basis. So I was not stretched. I did not want to bend down and pick anything up. And I just looked at it and I just went, nope, goodbye. Now I'm hearing your story on the 5 cents. And I'm wondering if that penny is going to haunt me.
Yeah, we got to stretch out before we leave the house, right after we get out of bed, because I don't. Everyone here, I'm gonna be very disappointed in you if you ever come across a penny a nickel, a dime, like you better pick it up. You better pick it up and buy more Kaspa right now.
You guys are gonna make me search my room for coins.
Yeah,
Damn
like
it!
I want to go for a walk right now and see if I run into any coins on the ground. So
That might be the next marketing project. Find a nickel on the ground, take a picture, post it, just found one Kaspa. Find a dime on the ground, take a picture, post it, just found two Kaspa.
I think
That's
we
a good
found
idea.
You joke, but that's gonna happen.
that is gonna
Oh,
happen. I'm just
I was
Let's
serious. It's a hell of an idea, and I'm not good with that stuff at all. But I love it because this the conversation it's brought up already. It that that can grow. That can absolutely grow.
Dude, the amount of regret I had, I literally was thinking like if I had just taken that nickel and like I just thought about how much fun it is just playing with Kaspa, sending it back and forth, just buying KNS domains, and I'm literally thinking like this is one Kaspa. Like that's like I don't know, maybe 5,000 transactions that I just left on the ground. Like that's actually insane if you think about it.
Do you remember that guy? I don't remember his name, but last year he designed something. He posted on X. He made a piggy bank where anytime you put in a quarter, it would insert it and convert it into Kaspa. Did you guys see that video? He made a piggy bank for Kaspa. He'd put a quarter in, and then you'd see on the screen that 25 cents was just put into his Kaspa.
I
He had
saw that.
figured
That
out
was
a way.
rad.
Yeah, I wish I want one of those. For when I graduated college, my dad gave me a bunch of coins he'd been collecting on the ground, and I still haven't counted it. And that would be great to just convert to Kaspa.
It's like a coin star for Kaspa. I love it.
Yeah, man, we need that. I want that. I would be. We need that.
Okay,
All of us.
what if we pause Dag Night and we work on that instead?
yes, yes. We're
Cash
moving
card
in a new
machines.
direction. You got to put a
Yeah.
good tweet together, and it needs to go viral. That's what we're doing. I'm with that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well,
Oh yeah, I got a post for you tomorrow, Onion. It's gonna be great.
Oh hell yes. So
I'm
what?
gonna start doing that. I'll start. Oh wait, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. Continue.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna start taking pictures of coins on the ground, and I'll do that. I'll start saying I'm converting it to cash, but we can do this as a trend. I'm willing to do it.
Oh, agreed.
I could use the exercise, frankly. So I will bend my big butt over and pick it up.
Do you need me to get out? I'll do a Vivor stream early in the morning and get us all stretched out so we get ready to pick up our coins. Is
No,
that
I
what you?
can't do mine in the morning. That's not gonna
We're
work
also
for
on
me. I can
different
take my
time
son
zones.
to
I'm gonna wait.
school.
We're on different time zones. It's 1 a.m. over here, so you're right. But, anyways, I was offering my assistance if you guys need some
Oh
help.
my god. Yeah, you know what? I appreciate that you want to stretch all the time. I love that about you.
Do you? Do you really? Tell me how you really feel, Kara. Tell me how you really feel.
It's like a
I
discussion with a
appreciate
vegan.
you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you
She's
so
like,
much.
yeah, it's awesome that you do your yoga in the morning and you're
Where's
flexible and you can stand on your head. But fuck you. Come on.
I love that for you.
You're great. I can only be positive right now. You're so wonderful. I love doing this show with you.
I love watching you do it. You look so handsome when you
Thank
do it.
you. That's exactly why I do it, to look handsome.
You know what you could do? What if you pick up a nickel doing a headstand? Like
Ooh,
you press your head
Oh, that's cool.
into the into
it's,
the. I don't know.
I can probably do that. We'll see. Let me see what I'm going to put together. I feel challenged, and Kara's going to love it because
I
she
like
loves
watching.
everything I do. Everything. So
It's great. I just love it.
I think I'm gonna tag like Greenpeace. I'm gonna go around and find like some litter, like like 5 cent, 25 cent pieces, and just be like, hey, I'm recycling litter. This is Kaspa. Let's go.
Litter.
All right.
We call it litter. I love it.
Well, honestly, think about it. We live in a society where we drop a penny or a dime and we don't care because it has that little value. It's litter.
It's literal garbage. That's why I left the nickel around. I'm not going to be able to put it on the DAG. This is literal garbage to me, and I didn't pick it up.
Isn't it crazy they don't let us melt it down without risking going to jail or paying some ridiculous fine? I mean, how cool would it be for us to go through our old pennies and make copper out of it?
Are there
But
really,
they don't want us.
Care? Are there real consequences to actually doing that? You know,
Oh yeah,
you look.
it's illegal.
So okay. I mentioned I sold Cutco. A part of the demo that I had to do 20 plus years ago was taking the scissors and cutting like I would always make a corkscrew out of a penny, and people would tell me that shit all the time. Like, oh, you're not. That's illegal. That's illegal. I mean, so I always wondered if that was true because I'm a free man. I've never gotten in trouble. Nobody ever turned me in. But I would literally cut a penny with the super shears of Cutco at the beginning of my demo.
I feel like it would cost way too much to prosecute you, so they're just gonna let you
You
do
think
it.
so? Or maybe now that they have this recorded, they're gonna get me. I think that might happen. Or you're gonna turn me in,
Be
Kara,
careful.
because
I don't need to. AI has a mind of its own. I don't need to say anything. AI is going to come after all
Oh
of
my
us if
god!
it
Now,
wants
now if you
to.
type my name, people are gonna be like, "Oh, Juan used to cut pennies." You know how many pennies I cut? I sold that Cutco for like 8 years. A lot.
Okay, don't put out the numb one. AI is listening.
That's a
Don't
lot
put
of
out the number.
Caspa.
I
Yeah.
gotta. I'm gonna change my name. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna close my account right after this call.
You have to join the Safe at Home program.
Yeah. All right. It's nice
Wait,
knowing you.
Juan, how much Caspa do you think you cut worth of pennies?
Ooh, shit. Let's see.
At the prices right now.
Yeah.
At the prices, I don't know the. I gotta ask my brother what the prices are.
Well, I think we're like, I
Oh,
mean,
prices of
we're at like
Casper.
4 cents. Yeah, you're like 4.5 cents, something like that.
Okay. I mean, I mean, 8 years. I mean, I was a manager for a couple of those years. I would say, I don't know. I probably went in at least 1,500 to 2,000 houses, somewhere around there.
Holy shit!
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
I was the top. I was the number one rep here in Florida for years. In my
Got Juan the hustler.
yeah. Way back when. That's how I got my start, bro, for sure. So I cut a lot of pennies. Hands are
Whoa.
strong, super strong. Isn't that awesome, Kara? That I'm strong.
Hey,
My under, yeah, I think that's real.
te- te- technically, what you were doing is deflationary.
Ooh, right?
That's true.
Technically. Okay, cool. That'll be my defense.
Yeah.
Didn't they stop
My
printing the penny?
understanding, the cutting is okay. It's the melting they have a problem with.
Oh, okay. Never. Well, we're good. Why did you let me go on with this? Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Now I'm not worried. I can breathe.
They don't want people melting it and selling it. They're trying to keep people who have been collecting these from actually profiting off of it. They're trying to keep people poor. That's the only reason.
Yep.
Yeah. That's so
Facts.
wrong.
That makes sense. Makes sense 100%. Yep.
So sad.
And also, I mean, historically, that's what they did. They would take they would take the silver and they would trim it and cut it out and melt it and make more silver. And then, the coins just kept getting smaller and smaller. At least I know they did that in, 2,000 years ago in Rome.
My understanding, and yes, thank you for bringing that up. My understanding, and I could have this date wrong, but I think it's pennies that are 1982 or before. have real copper in it that
Yes.
can be melted down for money, and that those are the ones they want to be illegal. And then we have quarters, and I forget the year. I think it's 1975 or 1974. Certain quarters before a certain year are worth more than others because of the amount of metal differences. I'm not entirely sure. My dad has been trying to get me to study this. I haven't had time, but yeah, there's some older coins that have a lot more value, but we're not allowed to melt them down. And so people are waiting for, get this, they're waiting for pennies to be discontinued from the minting process in hopes that the melting will become legal again. So people who've been collecting them can actually profit off of it the way they want.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, to answer your question, because I wanted to know myself, the last full copper penny was 1857, and in the middle of 1982, uh, it changed to copper plated zinc. So it was 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating.
Wow. Yeah, 1982. I knew that was a significant year for a change. And I think dimes from 1950, is there something significant about that? Do you know?
I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, so it was 1858 all the way till 1982 is what I'm seeing. Hold on. It changed a little bit, but it was basically then 1864. Yeah, so 1864 it was 95% copper, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, and then in 82. So anything before 82 was like 95% copper.
Yeah, this is why I struggle sometimes when I see a penny on the ground. Do I want to pick it up? Do I not? Can I see the year from here? Right? Is it going to be worth my time? Is that a $10 penny? Is that a 1 cent penny? What am I looking at here? Uh, yeah, they're not all the same. And I have a bunch of coins I haven't even looked at that I have that my dad collected and gave me. Some of them are very valuable, and some of them I have no idea. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but eventually I want to go through them one by one and see if there's errors on the coins, because those are the ones that are really valuable.
So
And
nickel was
it's important to look at them.
sorry to interrupt you. To answer your question, that was 1964. So anything before 1964 for the nickel was 90% silver and 10% copper.
Okay. And do you know about the dimes? Because I think that was the 1950s decade where things changed for the dime, right?
Yeah. So it was 65. So pre 65, it was 90% silver. So yeah, that's when they changed it. Was the last year was 64. So 64 and older was 90% silver.
Wow. So you hear that if you pick up a nickel or a dime and it says 1964 or before, keep it. Don't give it away. Keep it.
Wait, so should I not convert it into Kaspa?
Well, if you sell it for fiat and then sell that fiat for Kaspa,
You want to melt that
that's
down and then turn it into fiat.
well, you might go to jail.
They are welcome to try.
Oh my gosh. This makes me want to live off the grid.
Kara, I'm telling you, taking profits. What do you think I'm going to do?
I can't wait to live off the grid. I would love homesteading. I would enjoy it so immensely, and I'd be good at it. I would love that.
So you want freedom of money and freedom of physical life. I feel like that's a good reason to take profits for Kaspa. I'm not.
Yeah, I want to walk outside on the balcony and see a bear in the morning. I mean, I want that.
I want to walk out on my front porch completely naked, blasting some awesome music, see a bear and wave to him and drink some coffee. That's all I want. That's the freedom I want.
I love it. I want to build my own root cellars. I want to make my own cheese, make my own wine, make my own beer. I want to make my own everything, cut my own wood, deal with the snow that falls on the roof and complain about it.
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, I want that. I want to live out in the sticks, collect my own water. I mean, I would love that. I would have so much fun just living the extreme self-reliance lifestyle,
Oh, I
picking
completely.
up logs.
Hell yeah. And hey, you know what? When you find the guy who's going to build your bomb shelter, you let me know because I got work for him.
Love it. Love it. I would love to just homestead. I want to build my own greenhouse. I have dreams of just having a dog, living in some small little home with a big ass triple size kitchen with pantries and grocery aisles. Um, I just want to have a homestead.
Carrie.
And I've owned my own home, so I know what it's like to have land and home space, but at the time I wasn't thinking about off the grid, but it's something I'm thinking about now, just seeing how the world works. I just want out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I completely agree. Have food that doesn't have glyphosate on it. Like I'm good with not eating poison. Like that sounds good to me. And nobody telling me what to do. Like that's the dream. The only thing we got to fix is the aerosol being blown over our heads, and we'll be set.
Yeah, I don't know how to combat that one.
Usually, the best way, at least historically, is firearms. Just saying.
Just start shooting the sky?
No, something like
How
that.
dare you? How dare you chemical touch me? Yeah, that'd be nice. No, really, I would love to live off the grid and be able to one day identify what a poisonous plant is and just know, be able to just play my guitar and go fishing with a boat I made myself. I don't know. I want to do boring shit.
That's not boring. That's freedom and life, and that's a good thing.
Well, I would love that because I'm not one to, I don't know. I feel so different than most people. You know, I'm not a clubber or party goer. I just want to be out in nature, and I don't spend time out in nature the way things are now, but in a world where I have financial freedom, I would create that for myself.
Oh yeah, and that right there would be worth taking a little bit of your Caspa. Like we have time, we can keep buying. It's cheap right now, but taking a little bit of your Caspa and be like, this is for my homestead, and have that to look forward to, and have a sound money that is going to allow you to do that is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it now. I can afford to do it now, but my son does not want that. And so I'm having to deal with that. You know, he's not an adult. So I'm just sacrificing my time doing what he wants. But one day he's going to be an adult. He'll want a family of his own, and then I can do my own thing. So I have a plan, and I can do it. I can afford it now. Uh, I'm just I'm making sacrifices because I'm putting my son's needs first right now, and he likes where he is, and that's okay with me.
And that's a good way. That's being a loving mother. So good on it.
Thank you.
Onion, if I may ask, what's your dream?
Oh, with Kaspa?
Well, I mean, if you were to take out a percentage of your Caspa, or if you just had a lot of money, what is the interaction? What interaction are you going to have with the world that you want? I'm not saying it has to be freedom, but I assume since we're all here for freedom money, you're going to want to have a certain level of freedom from the system.
Ooh,
Um, so what would your freedom be like?
good. Well, I have a lot. I have a lot. So much. I want to do. I don't
I
know,
thought
man.
so.
What about? Is it the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What's the
Let's just say within the next 5 years.
Okay, 5 years? I'm trying to learn some languages and I want to travel. And then I just want to check out some places. And then what else would I want to do? Honestly, I would just finish my degree and I would just work. There's meaningful work I want to do and I want to do that. And
There you go.
yeah, I thought about if I become a millionaire or a billionaire, what would I want to be doing as a career? And that's what I'm going to do. So that way, if I have no money, I'm still happy. So I would just travel and then do meaningful work. And then, regardless of how much I have, good or bad, that would be it. But mainly travel, I guess, for a little bit. And work. That's my job as a man, is to work and then die. So that's
don't
Wow.
don't be too positive, man.
But yeah, what about you? What about you?
Oh, good lord. Um, well, definitely property. I don't know how personal I can get here. Um, definitely have property, have a stable piece of property that I put in a trust, so no matter what happens, nobody can touch it. Leave it to my children that I will have one day, I'm sure. And I would like to travel and probably teach. I like teaching. So probably teach things, whether they be survival skills, um, stock trading, or just evangelize. I think that would be right now. That's what I'm thinking, to help people have a better life and have more freedom, which is kind of a connect, which is for me a connection with, you know, with God. But on the flip side of that, that's something that I like about Caspa, and I'm so passionate about it, is because I like sharing ideas and helping people understand the freedom that you get with Caspa, and that makes me really stoked and really happy. And that's why, hopefully, I was hoping this week, but next week, I have an appointment um, with somebody who's kind of new to Caspa, and they have a little bit, but they don't know too much about it. But they're hardcore XRPers, so we're going to have a discussion, and I'm stoked, not to plug, but I'm stoked to actually kind of teach in a space next week, and that'll kind of be my first step in actually talking to somebody who doesn't really know about Caspa.
That's beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. Beautiful
Mhm.
goals you have.
That's great.
Thank you, thank you.
What about you, Juan?
Okay, Juan, let's be real. You would be going to more NFL games than you are right now. And as a happy, peaceful man talking right there. So
Thank you.
what you're saying is Kara's gonna host a big Caspa meetup, and we're all gonna have to
Yeah,
meet
or
and hang out.
yeah, we're gonna do that eventually. I'm down for that. I
Dude.
don't know. I don't know if Kara will, but Onion probably will. So
Well, she'll
we'll see.
definitely organize it. Kara, do you mind organizing things?
There'll be no chips.
That's all I eat is chips. What am I supposed to eat?
Oh my god.
I
Only
guess I
Well,
can
we
steak.
can't
Only
get
steak
married,
sacrifice.
tonight.
I guess I
Juan.
can
That's
sacrifice.
it. We can't get married now, Juan.
Okay. Damn.
Sorry. Can't do it. You know, it's interesting because even if here's the thing about what I want and what I can get, right? So I want to do homesteading in some weird place off the grid, maybe in Montana or something. But there's this other part of me that loves going to the opera. It's my favorite place to be where I dress up and just really enjoy myself. Now, I'm not going to find the opera next to a bear in the middle of nowhere unless I'm listening to a bird or something. So I don't know. I feel that in an ideal world, I would have maybe two places that are home, maybe one that's close to LA near an opera house, and another that's away from the world. Because I'm kind of a secluded person. I just enjoy seclusion, but I also enjoy music, live music. And I don't know if I could give that up permanently, just living off the grid. I would get bored and need that music, the sound of singing and the sound of instruments and the sound of people putting on performances. I just really enjoy it. And it's one thing that gives me so much joy that if it's done well, I'll sit there crying during the entire performance because it's so beautiful that it just touches me to my core. And so I didn't even know that about myself until January of last year. And now that I know that it gives me so much joy, every time I have an opportunity, I take it because it just fills me with so much emotion that's positive that I want more and more and more of it. So I'm kind of weighing between living in proximity or close travel to opera houses and or living completely off the grid. And I know they don't seem that they go together, but I would love to have something that works for me where I could have both.
Well, Kara, there's a thing called snowbirds. You've heard of this, where people will live in an area, and then when it's winter, they go to another area, and usually they have the money to do that. You could spend 6 months in one area and go to another area, or you could, I don't know, that is a pilot of a helicopter, and when you want to go on the weekends, he just flies your ass there, and you guys have a good time.
Well, there will be a second husband or a
But
second
there'll definitely
boyfriend.
be a
I'm
helicopter.
waging a
But there'll
lot of
definitely be a
things.
helicopter for sure. I see Karen.
Yeah, I might pilot it myself.
Hey,
I
there you
might have to
go,
pilot
Kara.
it.
Even easier.
Yeah, you know, that's not a bad idea. And in fact, most operas are 6 months out of the year. So that would actually make a lot of sense.
It's already working for your schedule, Kara. Do you see this? Do you see this life
I
unfolding?
do. I could see it actually. I could see that for me. I could see that. I think that would actually balance me quite well.
I agree. And I like this subject. I think it's good for us to talk about our dreams and the things that we want to accomplish. Um, it's also positive energy. And I think it can excite people who are kind of like down and like, oh, the price is down on Caspa. And of course, we're like, well, it doesn't really matter because we know it's coming. But it's good and uplifting. And I think it's important if people want to share like what their plans are in life. I mean, we got one life that we know of. So, what do you want to accomplish?
Here's the thing though, if I move to a different location and I have planted eggplant and I have cheese being made, if I walk away from it for 6 months, all that work is down the drain.
Kara, I feel like you're not paying attention. You're going to have Caspa at like $10, $15, and you're going to hire someone to come and take care of that when you're
Yeah, I'm
gone.
with Buffalo. We're gonna help you create systems so that all this works out. All these things that you want to do, it's all gonna happen. We're not gonna have to worry about any of that going to waste. Trust you got family here. We're gonna help you out with this. All
Kara, we,
right.
Thank
we don't
you.
we don't accept we don't accept no's when it
We
comes to our
don't.
dreams,
We do
okay?
not.
Jonathan will
That works.
Jon- Jonathan will support the eggplants.
100%.
That works. I don't even eat eggplant very much. I'm just saying. It'd be nice to have, I don't know, I want to make 20 types of cheeses. I want to have a whole cheese cellar. I want cheese that's been aged 2 years. I mean, I want to go all out. I want to make my own wine. I want barrels I've made myself.
So you need
I don't know.
cows, goats, vineyard. Okay, cows, goats, vineyard. Okay, so this is going to have to be a big
We're
property,
definitely
Kara.
It
partying, Kara.
sounds
Like we have to
it
go to
sounds like
Vegas.
a Caspa compound, and
Yeah.
we can start chipping in today.
Let's
We'll do
go.
a 10-layer multi sig, and we'll just start chipping into a Caspa compound, and we'll do it on like the
You know,
outside of
Martha
Nevada, so you
Stewart
can
is
still
doing
make it to
this.
LA.
Thank you. Martha Stewart's living this life in New York, by the way. She actually has my dream. She's doing it. She just has an actual staff,
So Kara, you need
right?
to be a better criminal so you can get this life.
Yeah, see, I have that on my side. I'm not, I'm not a felon, so that's good, right?
Well, I guess we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Cut
If
up
we if
some
you
of
want
those
the
pennies.
let's go.
This is great.
She has a storage shed that's just for her basket collection.
That bitch.
I want an entire walk-in pantry that's just my spice collection.
I mean, I guess
I
you
would
don't
love
want to
that.
dream small, so you better dream big, girl. Make it happen.
It's a big kitchen. I'm telling you, I have a big kitchen. I'm going to have aisles and aisles of everything I want. I'm going to have doors behind doors and hidden doors of sauces and flour. I'm going to have everything. And I think part of it's because I grew up with so much poverty of not having food
Hmm.
and having people donate food to us just so we'd have something to eat. I mean, I remember being 8 years old and jumping up and down because someone gave us green beans in a can. So for me, the idea of having a fully stocked kitchen with everything, just that to me is my end game.
I love it. Do you know how to can?
I'm gonna learn. I've watched videos. I've learned jarring and
There
canning,
you
and
go.
I've watched YouTube. I mean, I do that for fun, just learning how to do it. I know how to make solar panels, and I've never done it. I mean, I'm ready to go.
Kara, I would just like to point out like this feminine energy right here. I love it and I appreciate it. I'm there for it. This is awesome.
Thank you. Have you ever been to those restaurants where you walk in and they have a display of cakes and pies as soon as you walk in? I'm gonna have one of those in my kitchen with my own cakes and pies in it. It's gonna light up as soon as you walk in. I can't wait.
That's
I'm just telling you, I'm gonna have bomb kitchen.
Oh, Kara, do you like baklava?
I love pretty much any kind of food as long as
Okay.
it doesn't wiggle.
Yep, well that's fair. So my dad just got married. He lives in a little town. And I know you know it. What's it called? It's out by Saint Inez. It's this little Danish town. You know what I'm talking about. What's it called? Now I can't remember. But I went in there and I had the best coffee and the best baklava of my entire life. The dude grinds, he makes the coffee, he roasts the beans in the morning. And I went there and I had like the best coffee and the best baklava. It was not cheap, but oh my God, was the ride home awesome. It's really, really good. So if you're in that area, and Santa Ynez is kind of a horse ranch area. They have some farms and horse ranches out there, which is beautiful, really expensive. But yeah, it's just I think north of Santa Ynez.
What state is this in?
It's in California.
Really?
Yeah. It's like 2 hours north of LA.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. But they have like seriously the best coffee I've ever had. And it's some Turkish guy, and I look and he's got all these pictures of like what was it, like Keanu Reeves and the Governator, and he had a bunch of all these people have come into his shop because a lot of people from LA go up there and kind of spend the day, and it's like this little Danish town, and it's really cool. But the food there is just really, really awesome. But if you like baklava, holy hell! Sorry, I know I'm going on about this because I still have the box next to my computer. It's a little place called Cafe Dolce, and it is awesome.
Can you DM me that so I can remember?
Yeah. Come on.
I want to check that out. I'm willing to drive a good distance for something that tastes well.
What's
It's
baklava? I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like a layered. How do you explain it? It's like a honey layered thing with like nuts, chopped up nuts. It's a Turkish thing. But yeah, just look it up, baklava. It is God. It was so damn good. Best baklava of my life. It's definitely worth. And just the town, like they're out there and they're like on the street, they're like playing music on the street, and there's little stores. There was like a beef jerky shop, which was awesome. There was like a wooden shop where this guy just like carves his own wooden things. He's got barrels and all these little tchotchkes and whatever. But it was such a cool little town. And now my dad lives there and I'm jealous. And he's like, you should move here. I'm like, my whole life is over here. I can't do that, even though that does sound fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I would love to go. I love places like that. And I lived next to a place like that for a while and just really loved it. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. As soon as I find what the town's called, I'll let you guys know.
Awesome. How's your energy level, Juan? I just looked at the time.
Oh, we're going. It's cool. Gonzo came up. We just had
Cool.
Gonzo come up.
Gonzo, what's up?
Oh, what's up?
What's up, Gonzo?
Oh, not a whole bunch. Just thought I'd stop by. It's getting kind of late over here, but I think I'm a lot earlier than you folks.
What part of the globe are you from, Gonzo?
The world, Earth.
Earth.
I'm in Pacific Northwest.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think a lot of you guys are out in the east.
No, I'm out in the east. I'm east coast of the U.S.
Well, I could
Yeah,
hear
and
that in your voice, Juan. You can't hide that.
Yeah, you can't hide that one.
And I'm West Coast out near LA.
Oh, I didn't know that, Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm West Coast as well. Just a quick question to ask you, Gonzo. I'm just curious because I've heard this and it's hard for me to believe. Do Californians have their own accent?
I mean, everyone's got their own
Yes.
accent, right? Definitely. You're Cali girls, right?
Well, I know, but that's like Valley Girl kind of whiny, irritating. That's like a little subculture. I'm saying like do Californians have like an accent?
I mean, it's all depends, right? It's depends on what Californian you are, not necessarily where you're from. You got your stoner surfers, you got your valley girls, you got I don't know. There's a bit of a mix. You're asking the wrong person though. I'm not native to North America, so I grew up in the UK, so I'm surrounded by accents every 30 miles.
Okay, I
Yeah,
couldn't catch your accent, so this is
no,
making more sense now.
I am a straight mutt. I've got a blend of everything going on here. I haven't stayed in the same place for longer than 5 years. This is the longest place I've ever lived, so sort of a bit of a smorgasbord.
Same here.
I feel you.
I've never lived in any place longer than 8 years. I'm from a lot of different places.
Yep. I've moved 32 times in my life.
Jeez. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Wow.
busy, right?
Yeah. No kidding. Oh, SOLVANG.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah. Isn't that an awesome town?
Dude, yeah. I went there. Okay, so years old. So I don't have much recollection. But I remember old pictures before they were stolen. I remember pictures of me there as an adult and check that out.
Hell yeah. No, it's a beautiful, beautiful little town. It's a
Yeah, that's
touristy
right up
town, but
my
it's great.
alley. Yeah, that's definitely something I would do. My understanding is that they have some of the best Danishes in the world.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I yeah, it's mind blowing actually. My dad's new wife, before they got married, she got me a big cake of like this custard, like you can cut it up like pastry. I mean, I don't know if she's trying to buy her way into my heart, but she figured out what to do. So it was awesome.
There you go. There you go. I
She was going to buy your
love
way into your
that.
heart. She would have bought you Casper.
Ooh.
I don't think she knew me that well. She's also 75, so I don't
Mm.
think she knows that stuff.
Right.
But she is pro. I actually, when she came to visit up here, because I live in Northern California, I broke down what cryptocurrency was, and I was talking about specifically Bitcoin and Kaspa. And she's like, I spent like 20 minutes explaining this to her because I'm a Caspa maxi. So she, at the end of it, she's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I'm like, exactly. A deflationary asset you can use as money, and you don't have to have a bank for it. Nobody can take it from you. Just like, yeah,
Well, you see,
that's I totally get it now. I was like, there you go.
you're fortunate they're asking the right questions. I was having similar experiences. I don't know about you guys. I don't have a lot of crypto folk in my life. This is my crypto folk. You're them. Um, but I had some family over recently, and I was trying to talk the talk. And a lot of the times, I find that people that aren't in crypto or the people that are a bit more of an older generation tend to ask all the wrong questions. They're all trying to understand it. I don't know, speaking to my dad, they were like, well, but where does it come from? It's just on the internet. And I was like, well, yeah. It's like, but how did they find it? It's like, you're asking the wrong questions. You shouldn't be asking how it works. You should be asking why it works. You don't need the detail.
Ooh.
None of us are crypto scientists. None of us are academics. I look at the white paper and I shit my pants. There's things in there that make no sense. So I can't read that lingo, but I can understand the principle and I can understand the intent and how it jives with the current system. And you've got to look at those things. But I find that people always ask those wrong questions. They're always getting a little bit too wrapped up in the nuance and thinking a little bit too much about how complex it is because they can't pick it up. They can't see it. And then you got to remember, like, how freaked out were people in the 90s when internet started? Like, not my parents. They were a part of the generation that saw it and believed, but the older ones, the ones like my grandparents, they probably looked at this thing and just did not comprehend. And it's a similar thing. And, people just need to be patient with it. But I find that my people ask the wrong questions, so I sort of tend to just stick around an X, and I spend less time trying to pill people in the real world.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
That's good
Gonzo,
for you.
that's interesting that you say that. I don't know when you hopped on, but I find it really easy to onboard younger people. So we'll call it people in their early 20s that that are somewhat curious, that ask questions in a different way. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, no,
That,
totally. I mean, I
that
feel comfortable talking to my family because I can say whatever I want to them. But when it comes to the younger crowd, my colleagues and friends and peers, they need to come to this by themselves. If someone had tried to talk me into crypto, I would have called them a scammer before I was in it. And
right.
I feel like you've got to stumble into these rabbit holes yourself. Maybe if there were some younger family members, I could talk it up to them in the right kind of way, but they don't really exist in my life, except for my children, and I can't really get a 3-year-old to open up a wallet.
Well, not yet.
No, not yet. Although I am thinking about starting one. Once I sort myself out, I got to build my bag first. He can wait.
Did you say you're gonna start a wallet?
Well, there's all these like guys on the internet being like, I got my kid into Bitcoin now. I started them a wallet. Here's the QR code for it, but it's like a Lightning wallet, and they're trying to get all their followers to send their kid
Oh,
a thing, like to send them some sats.
For
But I
shame.
always,
For shame.
regardless of their usage, like their intent is good, right? They know that if they could have started when they were children, they would have. So it's kind of a nice idea if you got kids and you can be like, you know what, part of my DCA, I'll shave 1 to 10% off the top of that every 2 weeks and just start loading up this little wallet and just do it indefinitely. It'll build up a nice little bag over time.
I I think
awesome.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, man. Got to put himself through college on Kaspa.
There you go. That's not a bad way.
How long have you guys been talking this evening? I'm just sort of jumping on for the last part because I'm calling it soon. Just wanted to come and say hey.
We're at 3.5
Jesus
hours.
fuck.
We're all talkers. Not
All shit
surprised.
talking. Yep.
All shit talking all day long.
And I didn't even realize the time until 5 minutes ago. I wasn't even looking. I had no idea. And I went, whoa, this much time has passed. I had no idea.
We were in it there for a while, Kara, going back and forth. I was
Yeah.
laughing. I literally the back of my head hurt when Onion was going through his story and how you didn't pick up the nickel. So we were just in it for a minute, you know.
That was
I think I
funny.
joined when you guys were talking about coins. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So unless you got caught the beginning of that, you may have missed it. But Onion was sharing how he sharing it. And it was just yeah, we just went off with it. So that's where a good thing
Yeah.
went.
Onion saw 5 cents on the ground and said, oh, I'm not going to pick that up. And then later he went, man, I just missed out on Kaspa. That could have been 62,000 fiat. What am I doing here?
Yeah,
It's really gotten that
Yeah.
cheap, isn't it?
that was like the biggest blunder of my life. Not picking it up.
One single Casper could have been yours.
I know. That's gonna be reject finance in 10 years. Trying to work for that.
Bro, that
Did you
guy's
guys
a
ever?
fucking tool.
I was gonna say, did you ever see that video where someone had made like a cash deposit machine? It was just that they were able to plug the change into it and it would deposit cash. And I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know
Kara
how it
Kara was
worked,
talking
but
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We
also
love
fuck
that piggy
Raja.
bank Coinstar idea. So I just want to go ahead and start winding it down a little bit. So if anyone has anything that they are dying to say it now, because we're gonna. I know that on the East Coast it is 1:30 in the morning. Uh, on the West Coast it's a little different, but I'm just be respectful to my co-host and other Easterners who are in here. So yeah, if anyone wants to share anything, yeah, go ahead. You have the floor if you would like.
Yeah, fuck every Bitcoin maxi. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
It's
That
Bitcoin is a shitcoin.
really funny.
I
You,
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Onion, you sound so nice saying that. By the way,
Oh,
it
thank you.
like comes off really nicely. No offense. I'm speaking for the Bitcoiners. They're not offended.
Oh, fuck. Are
Yeah.
you saying I need to spew more hate into my language?
No, no, do it that way. It's funnier this way. It's funnier this way.
I can't believe you put VJ as layer one, Rajat as layer two. I mean,
Oh my god.
I sent that to VJ. I had asked him, I'm like, bro, are you cool if I do this? And he's like, go for it, bro. And I was like, all right. And I did that. Can you
oh my God.
imagine?
Has Rajat seen it?
Oh, Rajat follows me. I I have no idea how that.
Really?
I bully Rajat like crazy. I don't know how he hasn't blocked me yet. I am on every single one of his tweets calling him a retard. So
And he follows you?
What?
And he follows you?
Yeah, he follows me. He still follows me.
Well, he
Wow.
wants to make that money. So if you can interact with him,
Yeah.
that's
That's what I'm
him making
thinking
his
as well.
bag. But just to be fair, when a bunch of us come in and call him an idiot, I think the other people are makes them think a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I
my.
mean,
Oh, sorry.
it could be worth it. Could be worth it. Could be worth it, Onion.
I wish
I
VJ was here actually, because I was curious, right? You guys were talking about whether or not CFAs can say certain things. I wonder if they can block, because I haven't been blocked by him either.
I need people like Rajat in this world because I need the exit liquidity. I need a bunch of idiots to keep buying Bitcoin and pumping the Bitcoin price so I can keep funneling it into Kaspa. So I am in full support of Rajat Finance, and I'm actually offended if y'all talk shit about him. So that's my stance.
So I'm blocked by him. I'm blocked by him in several Bitcoin. I did interact with him though, and all I said. So Caspa Silver had told me that, oh, I knew Rajat from before he was in Bitcoin, and he used to promote his financial services, and even VJ confirmed this, and I didn't confirm it, and I went on his page and said something about, oh, like this guy knows everything about Bitcoin, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Then he reposted me and said, listen, look at this retard. And then he mentioned my, the pin post that I have up there. I still have it up there. He goes, yeah, this is probably all a lie. This guy's a loser or some shit like that. And he's like, I don't talk about shit. He's like, I don't talk about things that I don't know. I go, you talk about Bitcoin and you don't know shit about Bitcoin.
Facts.
And then he fucking blocked me. So I mean, he
Well,
was the first person to block me on X.
to be fair, he's a bit of a dumb cunt. So I don't feel like you're missing out much, Juan.
Oh no, I know I know I mean, I see what he does, but
Look what
Well,
happens, right? Someone mentions Raja,
yeah,
and we all
I don't
turn the
care.
mics off, right? Everyone's like, "Fuck Raja, fuck Raja."
Well, think about it. Think about it real quick. I just want you to think about this. If the institutions weren't so very much into Bitcoin, when Caspa comes out, I think Bitcoin would die. I mean, I really, and I don't think it'll be overnight. But think about it. Seven TPS
Yeah,
every.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the fundamentals of it, and people who don't use it as money, like it would die. I mean, it doesn't make any sense why it would live. People would completely go over to Caspa, but because you have these corporations who are keeping it up and keeping up, they're putting money into it, but they're also mining the fuck out of it every day. Like,
That's
I feel like
fine.
I feel like it just die. But that's just my opinion.
bro, Bitcoin is literally a shit coin at this point. It's literally just BlackRock. That's the only reason I don't sell all of it is because I'm greedy and I know BlackRock's gonna pump my bags. But if it weren't for BlackRock, it's literally a shit coin.
I agree, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too expensive for retail investors. It's just not worth it.
It's way too slow.
Yeah. Low.
You can't fucking use it. You have to use it, and
You're not
Yeah.
allowed to
people
use
try
it,
to use
Juan.
it, and
You never touch it.
yeah, it's the dumbest
Never
shit
think about
ever.
it.
And exactly,
You're
I learned
free
my
though.
lesson. I learned my lesson.
I
Anyways, guys, I'm gonna bounce. I'm just gonna say goodnight.
Good night.
Have a good
See
one, Gonzo. Thanks for hanging out, bro.
Hey, brother. I
Thank you, Gonzo.
I
think we're joining us.
Well, this has been a super awesome episode 6. I want to just go around saying just a flow of gratitude to everyone who has joined us today, the different listeners and speakers, and I'd like to thank my co-host Juan for being here and always just being a positive, uplifting person with just bringing life experience into his advice, which I think is so authentic. And I really also, again, want to thank Truly for her generous tip at the beginning of our call. If anyone feels the inclination to send a gift of exchange through Caspa, we do have a wallet where Juan and I split the proceeds 50-50, and that wallet address is beneath the surface.cas. It is completely optional. We do this show from the love of our hearts. It's just something we do because we love it. We're not doing it for the money or for the Kaspa. But we do thank the energy exchange and we welcome it. So we are receivers as well as givers. So if you feel inclined to do that, feel free. And I want to thank Casme, who's not here. I believe it was him, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Someone anonymously sent us a Castbot NFT, and I don't know who sent it. It just appeared in our wallet. So I want to say thank you. Obviously, I want to say again a huge thank you to the various anonymous donors who've been sending us Caspa at the end of our shows. I had no idea who any of them were until today. I saw one person, and so I also want to thank Vivor for programming that into the platform so that we can now see who our donors are if they put their username up. So thank you to Vivor. I was able to see today that Truly sent us a very generous gift of 500 CAS, which was completely unexpected. And that was very, very sweet and very generous. So I want to thank our donors, our listeners, the people who took time out of their day to sit with us, listen, connect with us, be a part of our conversations, even if it was for a short time or an extended time. It's your time, and to spend it with us, it's our time, and it's just great to have that connection. So I just want to thank everybody, and thanks for letting me be a part of your community as well. Juan, go ahead. I know you're gonna have your tag
Yeah,
here.
yeah, we'll do that at the end. So I second everything that Kara says, and I always have fun coming here, and I love the question about, hey, what would you do? What are your goals? It's like I definitely had these concrete things that I wanted to accomplish, but I'm not lying when I'm telling you I'm living it. I'm living it, and I'm a very simple person, is what I've learned. So I'm not saying I don't strive for things and whatnot, but a big part of that is I'm really here. I'm really in the present, and it's so cool to hear of all the dreams that you guys have. And I know that those things are out there, and they're actually not that far away. So it's going to be pretty cool to see that happen, and see that unfold. So again, want to thank everybody, all the speakers that came up. We had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on this one, and they're always fun. So thanks for coming up and sharing and giving your input. We value it. Every single voice matters. I want to thank the people that are listening, so you listening matters. And, we're building something here. Karen and I are having fun with this, and we encourage you guys to bring whatever it is that you can bring to the table. I think the more and more, there needs to be more spaces like this. There needs to be more conversations like this. So I mentioned earlier, doing something with sports with Bishop. We have a sports connection, and who knows where that's going to go. So if you have time, you care about sports and want to just banter with us about that, join that. And don't be afraid to promote what you're doing, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to learn. Like, this is what this blockchain banter is all about. So again, just really appreciate every single one of you. And specifically appreciate my co-host. I love getting to know you, Kara. You're a beautiful soul, and I'm just having a lot of fun with this. So we're gonna keep this going for sure. So thank you all for joining us on Blockchain Banter Beneath the Surface, where Kaspa carries the current of truth, vibrating at the frequency of seekers. Remember, one conversation at a time. Be humble, be kind, give it time. Love you all. Good night.
Take care.
All
Good
right, thank
night.
you guys.